Take me on, make a wish and cross your fingers. Chance it all, throw it out. Make some room for what we're building. All my life I've searched for just this. It's in your eyes and the setting sun. It's in your eyes and the rising moon. It's in your eyes and the ocean waves. It's in your eyes and you're here with me. I don't need recognition. I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues. I'm in position. I'm staying up. It's getting late. You're doing good. I'm doing great. Recognition. I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues. I'm in position. I'm staying up. It's getting late. You're doing good. I'm doing great. I know this life is right for me. I know the future's bright for me. I know my teachers lied to me. I do it for the ones that came before and nearly died for me. Recognition, I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues, I'm in position. I'm staying up, it's getting late. You're doing good, I'm doing great.
I keep myself in the dark, shadows watching over me, over me. You flick the switch, made a spark. From then on, I wore my heart upon my sleeve. With you, I bear all the scars. I was left with paper skin. You let me in. A different home, broken start. Baby, where do I begin? I begin. Rising up, we touch the sky. Won't be promising that I won't ever let you fall. We could build a love 10 stories high if we played a game just you and I. Like a house of cards, house of cards. Hey, when it all comes crashing to the ground, we can start again and work it out. Like a house of cards, house of cards.
Hello once again and welcome to PokerStars Retro, our retrospective look at poker events and poker TV shows from yesteryear. I am James Hartigan, rejoined this week by Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies. Retro is short for retrospective. I just got that.
It's not like we haven't referenced it, I don't know, 70 times since we started doing this in March of last year. Joe, I'm glad you're back. I still think it's ironic that the reason why you weren't available last week to comment on Latin American Poker Tour TV shows is because you were actually in Latin America, but you were in the wrong decade. We were in 2009. We were covering the Season 2 Grand Final. This week we move on to Season 3 of the LAPT, and actually we move into the year 2010, February of 2010. And there is another big change here, which is that clearly the TV production became local. Now, again, I alluded to the fact that we've been doing these retro streams since March of last year, and one of the things that we've talked about is that we've witnessed the evolution of poker TV. It's not just the evolution of the game and strategies and concepts, it's also how it was filmed, the job the graphics did. And I've really enjoyed the last few weeks looking at the APPT and LAPT shows from 08-09, because I think they stand the test of time incredibly well, and that is full credit to the American production company, 441 Productions, who made those shows. They were also doing the World Series shows at the same time. They were doing the NAPT shows at the same time. We've worked with those guys. They are top-notch.
Yeah, I mean, really amongst the best poker TV producers ever. Given the chance to work with them again, I think we would all jump at the opportunity. I feel like there's a big but coming, James. I feel like there is a big old but coming at the end of all these compliments.
Well, I think the LAPT took its toll on 441. Their executive producer left his appendix in Chile, and they lost a hell of a lot of camera equipment in Mexico. It did then become a local production. And look, I've only seen a few minutes of this week's stream just to pick out a few of the key faces that we're going to be watching today. And yeah, there is a major drop in production quality. I kind of feel that even though we've moved forward a year, I feel like we've moved back 10 years in terms of aesthetics. Although it is a graphics package that we're a little bit more familiar with. It's the same graphics that we used on the old EPT live streams of this era. So maybe it'll be easier for some of you to follow the action and maybe understand what the pot is and what the bets are. And that, of course, is a very important part of following the game. What I am thrilled to see is that we're keeping up this narrative of being able to see players we've never seen before, players who maybe we've forgotten about over the years, and also players who we still know very well and are seeing for the first time. Dominic Nitscher being a great example from last week. This week, Nacho Barbero is back for more. I'm pleased to say that the Brenner's brothers are in action. We're going to get to see Andre Akari. We're going to get to see Aniel Guillen. We have got the Shark himself, Humberto, at the feature table to kick off the action today. We also have a former Poker in the Ears superfan. I know you laugh at me for this one, Joe, but Andres Korn did come on the podcast when we went to Panama. World Cup trivia was his specialist subject. Suffice to say, he won. Who would have thought that the South American soccer fan would know more about the game than Joe Stapleton? But great to see him in action in these shows as well.
Yeah, Andres, I remember being a very likable guy. And if I remember correctly, the reason why we had him as a super fan, sort of with an asterisk, is because he has had some success on the Latin American Poker Tour. No spoilers.
Yeah, and obviously the fact that he was going to be in Panama when we were recording the show in Panama helped, but it's not like he didn't listen to the show. It's not like he wasn't a fan. And in fact, I remember that when we went to Monte Carlo later that year, Andres was chasing me for his merch. Like, he genuinely wanted his Chop Pot hoodie. That meant a lot to him. So the event we're covering today from Season 3 of the LAPT is in Uruguay, Punta del Este. We're going back to that resort. 24th to the 27th of February 2010 is when this event took place. And as with the other tours we've covered, as the seasons go on, the buy-ins tend to go up and the fields get bigger. So now we're looking at a $3,700 main event with 307 total entries. That's a prize pool of more than $1 million, 48 getting paid with more than $250,000 up top. And in previous shows, we've joined the action before the bubble. Here, we are joining the action post-bubble. In fact, we're very close to the last couple of tables as we pick up the action, and you'll see on screen blinds are 4K, 8K with a 500 ante. Around 22 players remain. So without further ado, let's get to the action and see what happens on this, what I guess is penultimate day of this LAPT main event.
So friendly.
So we immediately have a shove from Martin Fuentes with ace-7.
How much? 43. 43.
Based on the fact this was labeled as hand 12, Joe, I'm guessing that there was a live stream from this event, and the live stream footage was repurposed for TV.
Aha.
Well, I'm going to assume this shove doesn't get through. And there is Andres Korn. We were just talking about him. Former Poker in the Year superfan. And he's got 7s, and he is calling Fuentes' all in.
Not quite a flip to start things off. Are we starting off with things happening the way they should, or a horrific ace on the desk situation?
Sí, pero estamos. Todos queremos que él gana. Eso ya sabemos. No, te quieres mala suerte. Me gusta Martín, me gusta Martín. Te espero afuera, yo soy de Uruguay.
Of course, if that ace on the desk were to be on the river, it would be a rare appearance south of the border for Barry Greenstein.
I've seen Barry south of the border plenty, but his border.
Come on, guys, let's do the cards.
Oh, I like this deal. Do it, do some more.
At least it's above the line this week. 9, 5, 3. 7s are holding.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Wow, maximum drama with this deal.
Maximum amount of hugging. You start hugging now. Oh. We know Umberto loves a good ocho.
The river called.
This is awesome. How many hands are we going to get in?
A set on the river, the case 7 for Andres Korn, and the elimination of Martin Fuentes. So he is 22nd place finisher in this LAPT main event from February 2010, cashing for $7,300.
No, it's so similar.
Okay, I
It's
understand.
like-
Yeah, it's like for us talking with someone
Okay,
from
blinds
abroad.
4 and 8,000. I'm paying attention now. Hey, the
Sevens?
trophy's starting to get a little bit more like we're used to.
Yeah, familiar, I guess, visually, but also, and crucially, still potentially lethal. And I like that in a trophy.
Was that pocket 7s? We just saw the pump fake and him be like, ah.
Yeah, that was 7s folded.
I think it could be fine.
Oh, big slick for the shark.
I wonder what Umberto's reaction was to the whole baby shark phenomenon. Do you think that he maybe tried to get on board with that? See?
Wow, I have to say, now it looks like an inspired fold with
Yeah.
7s.
I really don't hate it under the gun. I mean, it makes more sense at a final table when there's other short stacks, ICM in play, but, you know, who knows what's going on right now with 21 left.
So Nicolas Cardin is the at-risk player here, all in for 70K with 9s. Umberto is calling, and this one will be a flip. And I'll see you in 5 minutes when we know the outcome of this hand.
Great, I have plenty of time to do my flip. Like the town versus 127 hours, which is how long this will take. One of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage.
Del otro lado, pero ya lo vimos.
I just folded sevens, by the way.
I love it. That guy's now boasting about the fold with sevens.
Nada más yo tenía nueves
9 y shots, exacto.
y el derecho.
Son todos rocas.
Tienes que pagar con tu plata, está bien.
¿Todos rocas?
The flop is 10-6 deuce.
Now I know why people watch this at faster speed.
Hay cámaras acá, no digas boludez.
Is there a 1.5x option on this console?
Everything does move a little slower in Latin America. We know that's true.
Looking good for a double up for Carden's nines. I've no idea who he's waving to.
And El Rio.
It's a jack nines hold. That is going to be a double up and does some damage to Umberto Brenes' stack.
Carden. Carwen.
I have to say, Umberto, very composed and behaving, dare I say, normally throughout that hand. So blinds up to 6,000, 12,000.
Si te responden, te quedas sin nada y casi te metes a jugar.
Jack 8. Andres Korn folds. Umberto also passes. Ace King of Strawberries for Marco Casado.
I feel like we're just going to be seeing a whole flurry of Ace King versus whatever, all-ins.
Well, if that's the case, we're probably going to squeeze in 5 hands with the time it takes them to actually deal it out. Oh, hello. Roman Suarez has aces.
Suarez Sueño.
So here's the thing, guys. We've had a taste of how much time there is between an all-in being called and the river card being dealt. I want to know what people can get done in that time frame. Is it possible to boil the kettle and actually make a cup of tea? Is it possible to actually make a sandwich? Is it possible to toast a bagel and spread cream cheese on it? What are you able to do in the time it takes these all-ins to be dealt out?
I mean, you certainly cannot fold Ace King suited for this amount. You don't have to get it all in. The re-raise from the button isn't like always going to be, you know, people call on the button most of the time, right? They just want to play a hand in position. So just calling makes sense. You just really, 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 really need to miss this flop or hit it so hard.
So this is the first flop we've seen in a non-all-in situation, and it's top versus top set. 4% equity for the player with Ace King.
I would just like to remind everyone watching that blockers aren't real.
Here we go, all in for 211,000. In fact, Suarez is covered, calls all in for 180K.
I don't even know how he's got 4%.
Running cards for a straight.
Jack 10 is really catching. Jack 10 is 4%. 2 spades, 4%.
I guess it includes the chop outs as well for the flush.
Yeah. I mean, 4%, but very likely to be dead on the turn.
Correct. So this event started in February of 2010. By this point in time, it is April of 2010. It is a spade, and we now have the prospect of the type of pot that everyone loves.
I feel like it really wasn't 4% on the turn, but it ends up coming spade, spade, and they're like, we got to make it a little higher. People won't believe it.
The river, however, is a club, and that will be a double up for Roman Suarez. And I think we're going to have a new feature table, Joe. Yeesh, that graphic.
That's why Umberto's quiet. He ain't got no chirping chips.
I mean, I know we laughed at some of the graphics from the early seasons of the EPT, but that is possibly the worst thing I've ever seen in any PokerStars TV show.
Oh. There he is.
Looks like CFAX from 1983. I will shut up about this eventually. I just can't quite believe that made it to air.
There he is. All in for a big blind. Not the worst spot, not the best spot.
So I think the reason why we've got a new feature table, Joe, there was a redraw.
Yeah.
16 players remaining, so down to 2 tables of 8 at this point in time.
And we got lucky. We got to catch Umberto's potential bust out here. We got Nacho at the table.
Good to have the undersea monkey watching. Spoiler alert, this event has not actually yet concluded. We're going live to the final table later.
This is just the highlights catch up.
Tú le pediste una mujer, ¿no?
Okay, well, looking okay for Umberto. Still has some cards to fade on the river, though.
Casito did not lose much equity on that turn.
Tiene pinta de buen estudiante, 8.
Umberto's going to get the double up, and Breyer makes a good point. If these are highlights, what on earth have they cut out?
I mean, look, we bag on the producers, right? We bag on various producers over the years. I will say, it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job when, you know, all-ins are important, but don't always have a lot of context. Like, what do you include? And it took a long time for people to figure that out.
Would love to see a few hands that are not all-in confrontations. I do think that a highlights package has to be more than just double ups and eliminations.
Definitely, but if you're inexperienced, it's not exactly intuitive.
Of course, it's just very hard to go from having had the best in the world, make your season 2 TV shows, and now have this.
Also, I guess, you know, you might want to include as much Umberto as possible, right? Like, you're never going to schlug him. So all of this nonsense, you got to get it in.
siempre.
quiere robar al pobre
Sí, 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 sí.
flaquito, no.
Poca carne y mucho hueso, ¿no?
Queen Jack folds for
Mirá que quiere haber un insulto.
3 and a little big blinds.
Creo, si no me equivoco.
Meanwhile, Klas Thorsel with ace 9.
Además, un amigo de Suecia. Más el salmón sabe muy rico
Y ahora quiero
también.
ya, con 49, quiere tener una mano y media.
Una ensalada de salmón y una sopa de hueso. Sí, una olla de carne que le ponen. Vamos con el muchacho.
Pero mira que
48.
estos huesos le rompe los dientes a los tiburones. Pagó solo.
So Thorsel has called, and Nacho Barbaro is calling as well from the small blind.
Yeah, he's getting some pretty decent pot odds there, and if you know Pano isn't the type to like suicide squeeze the big blind.
Well, after that reaction, there's no way he's suicide squeezing now.
Yeah.
Aceptas menos en realidad.
But you can peel this too, getting 5 to 1 just about.
Conviértete en 6 menos para mí, que van al pozo. Y ahí vamos.
I believe that Ernesto Pano has called as well, and we have got four-way action with one player all in.
This is frustrating when you have King 8 here and you go broke to the Jack Deuce. I'll tell you that much.
Feed this man. The shark is hungry.
5, 6, 4.
All right. King 8 still not doing terribly.
Not at all. Decent equity for Umberto. Klas Thorsel with the best hand right now, ace high. Board pairs on the turn. Klas now with 45% equity, and they continue to check this down.
Yeah, this is bad news for Umberto if this happens. If this checks all the way.
Oh, it is the Jack Deuce, Joe. You weren't kidding. Pano catches on the river.
I don't think anyone's going to bet at this point.
No.
So gross.
And that will see Umberto Brenes eliminated in 16th place, cashing for $8,350. Jack Deuce triumphant for once.
One of the first poker articles I ever wrote was about how if you are playing in a cash game and you start feeling the need to get involved with Jack Deuce, that means it's time to go home.
Blinds up to 10,000, 20,000, and we are now close to the final table. Several players have been schlugged, and we're down to 12 now.
Good.
45,000.
Nacho y Barbaro.
So it is Bernardo Diaz who's opened here with King Queen.
Did he fold those fours face up?
30.
No, surely not.
Más.
Más 40.
Well, all I'm going to say, Joe, is if this guy is willing to play Jack Deuce, Jack 6 is statistically a better hand. Oh my God, I was
Way
joking.
better.
I was joking. I didn't think he'd actually call.
I mean, this seems pretty...
Does I raise thing?
Oh, wait, he's not in the big blind?
No!
Sorry.
In total, I have 69 with the big blind. So I'm raising. But I don't know. Maybe I'm raising. Maybe I have good cards. But they cannot raise again. So I need to make it a full 25 extra for them to be able to raise again.
Wow, people knew the answer to that in 2009, huh? 2010, excuse me.
Well,
Call.
Klaas Thorsel is not re-raising. Calls with 10-5. I'm not 100% sure what's going on in this hand.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're the guy with king queen here and you end up losing to either 10-5 or jack 6, like this could be why we don't see DS on the scene anymore. Like that would be enough for me to retire. I'd be like, I'm good. I don't need to play this game anymore. How do you have this much? Now Thorsel's all in for 14,000.
Yeah.
You'll stop and go at 10-5?
Yes, he did the stop and go with 10-5. That is correct.
It's just not quite enough to get
What is happening?
any hand to fold.
What is going on?
Oh my god. This is awesome.
Oh god, Jack 6 of clubs is going to get there, isn't it?
This is amazing though. How do you have this many cards represented and no one has hit anything on this board?
Unbelievable. This Pano guy.
What the hell just happened?
He made a flush.
Oh my god.
Flash. No, he's kidding.
Just kidding.
Yeah, you're the best, buddy. Flat Jack 6.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. There it is. That was the face. What are you doing, Ben?
Also, sort your belt out, sir. Meanwhile, Klaas Thorsel KO'd. The Swedish Bradley Cooper out in 12th place for $12,500.
That was awesome.
That's what we want. More hands like that. Less of the all-ins
Yeah,
that take 17 minutes.
And hands that make me and James seem smart. So we must be down to what, 10 at this point? 10 or 11, right? Is the only way we'd be
11
5-handed.
players. We are 11 players.
Wait, Jack Deuce. No, that's one. What?
Pocket fives here for Jose Luis Capdevila. By the way, one key change between Season 3 and Season 2 of the LAPT. You might remember that last season we were playing 9-handed final tables. They're basically emulating the EPT dynamic now. The official final table is 8, so they're going to keep going until they're down to 8. And then the final day will see those 8 finalists return.
Alrighty. Oh, we've got another flip. Like the other guys versus Cop Out. One of these two things from 2010 has a slight mathematical advantage.
I saw it already. Always an ace on the desk. You could see the little point there.
Four.
Nope. Only a 5 on the river will save Capdevila. No 5. And that will take us down to 10 players. 11th place finisher in this LAPT main event from Uruguay, February 2010, cashing for $12,500.
I like that little shaky nerves there.
Well, it seems we've sleuged the player in 10th place. We get another graphic that looks like it was made on a Casio calculator watch. And those are the seat assignments for the final 9 players. Blinds 12-24.
Which one of you is going to be left standing when this musical chairs song completes? Oh, what's up with this dude? Just hiding out over here.
I mean, with no outer table coverage, Joe, this is an occasion where we are going to see people for the first time at the final table. And this is
Ludger.
Norbert Ludger. Is opening with ace-jack. Ernesto Pano has a wide range. Pocket threes. He's calling.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's by far the best hand we've seen him play. Like, what do you got? Jack 8 this time?
Jack 9 suited for Nicolas Cardin.
It's a Nicolas Cardin.
And 5 deuce of diamonds for Daniela Zappiello.
I mean, the good news is that calling with 5 deuce, I mean, makes way more sense than some of the other things we've seen. Oh, wait a second.
Squeeze plate. Squeeze plate from the button. Re-raise to 82,000 with the 5 deuce.
I mean, look, in 2009, I'm definitely sitting there assuming that no female would ever squeeze on the button. I might fold ace jack.
Well, Ludger has called. Pano is in pain.
Undersea Monkey says, I like the 5 deuce raise there. I do too, but it's kind of fun, but maybe more. That's all I would say. You're still giving like a pretty good price, it feels like.
And once Ludger calls and Pano calls,
yeah,
you're not thinning the field at all.
You're juicing the pot with 5 deuce, though, which I don't hate. If you can get real lucky here, you're going to win a big one.
Let's go.
Love it.
Oh, look at, of course, this mystery man checks in the dark.
Well, this is a Cardin flop. Jack 9-4, top 2. It's top for Ludger. He could get into trouble here.
You see that 4 diamonds in the window? You're like, yeah, no. Here we go. Oh, I don't know about that last chip. Nope.
Tried, failed. 5 deuce folds.
Poor Ludger. Domination, rotation.
Yeah. A reminder that we are on the official final table bubble. 9-handed right now. 8 players will return for the final day of this $3,700 main event. And for a moment, I thought that was all in. Then I realized he's got all those little stacks of 10 kind of to his side.
It's kind of like in Monopoly where you don't really have your money organized. There's just like little piles everywhere. It's hard to see who's got what. Got a little 50 under the board.
I think this is getting raised. What?
Oh, what?
He had jacks and 9s, right?
Holy shit. What? come on. Show the other jack. This guy really believes in blockers.
Well, I know there's a lot of geniuses watching this show. One of you needs to make a time machine. People, we need to get back to Uruguay 2010 and play us some no-limit hold'em, and we are all going to clean up.
That is a hell of a fold. I am definitely not good enough to make that fold.
Yeah, as I said, I'm probably maybe overcautiously raising that turn, partly for value and partly for protection, but I'm never folding on that board with jacks and nines.
I'm never raising that turn for value. I'm probably raising it for protection quite a bit, but I'm also never folding.
Meanwhile, our friend with the dodgy belt is all in. Nacho Barbero raised on the button. It was all in to call for Ernesto Pano, and he is dominated. Elu asks, are you guys sure this is an actual live event and not a bad poker movie?
No.
Thank you for your question. So Pano at risk and behind.
Wait, is this still happening?
Yeah, I know, it's taken a while.
I feel like Nacho went through like a 7-year period where he never lost any of these and won all of the ones he was behind in. I'm not worried about Nacho here.
Well, if ace-10 holds, if Ernesto Pano doesn't get there, he will be eliminated in 9th place, and we will have reached the 8-handed final table of this LAPT Punta del Este main event. Well, that makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. Oh, actually it does, because it creates some opportunities, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the opportunities.
Yeah.
The board pairs. 10 does not play.
Ace-10 holds, and Ernesto Pano bubbles the final table. 9th place finisher for $14,590. The other 8 players will return for the final day of this event. They'll come back on the 27th of February 2010 to compete for a first prize of nearly $280K.
They'll be back for the final days of this event.
Hugs and high fives all around. Wow. I kind of feel like after that I need a drink and all I've got is coffee. That was different.
Different, but exactly what we're looking for with these older shows, right? Like that's super fun. Things you don't expect. Just little quirks of the era, of the place in the world that we're at. That's exactly what I'm here for.
Yeah, again, I feel that the standard of play is to be expected. I think it was a great shame that all we really got to see when we played down from 22 to 9, which is quite a lot of people in a kind of highlight show, was a series of elongated all-ins. I'm hoping that now we're at the final table, and I believe that 2 of the TV shows generated from this event are covering the final table. So hopefully we get a little bit more post-flop play now. Maybe some more ridiculous laydowns, maybe some more speculative calls that get super lucky. I just wish, and again, we've been spoilt, right? We've had all those shows from Asia, all those shows from season 2 of the LAPT, and now we get low production values. And look, it's what we do for a living. I can't help but spot every single dodgy camera shot, every single bad graphic, and it just makes me wince. And I guess at that time, 2010, in other markets, things were a lot better. This is very much a local issue.
You know what's really weird, James, is I think I'm more representative of the average poker viewer, because even though, like, you pointed out and I go, yeah, that makes sense, but like I definitely notice but don't care. Like I'm just here to watch the poker.
Okay, well, that's what you get to do. And a reminder that we are watching today. I should point out that once this main event has wrapped, they also filmed an invitational cash game show in Punta del Este that year. So we've got some cash game action on the way. But before that, the final table of this main event, $3,700 buy-in, 8 players remaining, all now guaranteed more than 20K with 6-figure scores for the top 2. So let's get to it. And let's have a look who's still in contention. If you can make out that fuzzy graphic. These are the players in seat order. It is Norbert Ludger who's coming into the final table as chip leader with the blinds at 15 and 30,000.
Norbert. Vivid egg with me here. Unusual poker is wonderful.
Marco folds. Roman folds. Fold it around to Nacho. Action's on the button now with Bernardo.
Bernardo
Diaz. No. Doesn't appear as if
this is setting the agenda for this final table, I am here for it.
Small blind folds.
I mean, you're raising a biggish stack too. Why? I mean, against a button raise, this is a re-raise a lot of the time. Diaz starting with 837,000. Hartigan with 985,000. So these are the number 2 and 3 stacks. And we got a couple of clubs and a gut shot.
3.
Nicholas checks. Bernardo checks.
Oh, but the queen.
Yeah,
and
queen.
A good check. Check. Okay.
7 of clubs on
Where we go. I'd like to think that Cardan isn't folding this.
It is the actual nuts. So.
Yeah, but then what happens is you get the 6 of clubs on the river. He panics about 8, 9 of clubs and folds.
Nicholas bets 136,000.
I've never seen the two-handed bet move for such a small stack of chips.
Well,
Bernardo calls.
Bernardo Diaz calling with a pair of queens with a dodgy kicker and 0 equity.
Brings a 4 of hearts.
Can Cardan get another value bet paid off?
I think yes. I think when someone raises queen deuce on the button here, that they're not going to fold top pair for any reasonable bet. Now, can you keep it reasonable with ace jack suited here? That's the question. You are going to expect that queen 10 is going to connect a lot with people's button raises. But unless they have queen 10 specifically, I think it's hard to get like a big bet called here. So there's almost 500 out there. It looks like we're loading up for a huge river bet. Of course, that would require me to know what these denominations are, which I don't.
I mean,
Okay, Nicholas bets 266,000. 267,000.
Just over half pot.
267,000.
Not huge, but not small.
yeah, most of those chips are the 1Ks. Originally, the bet was 266,000, but then he went back and put another blue towards the top. Oh, wow. Diaz makes the call with top pair, is shown the nuts.
Nicholas shows ace of clubs.
And that is a
jack of
huge
clubs
pot for the Frenchman.
For the ace high flush.
Sometimes Queen Deuce gets sucked out on.
Yeah, he's just got his once he's playing with.
Great to see. Former Poker in the Ears superfan Andres Korn at this final table. Blinds 15,000, 30,000. And this is the fourth hand of the final table. Obviously, we are watching highlights.
Actions on Roman, he folds.
Nice sizing, says Breyer, 86.99. Yeah, absolutely. Really good sizing. I think that our hero with Queen Deuce might have called even more.
Yeah.
To be honest, but I think it's good sizing.
Nacho has opened with Ace Queen.
Renato and Andres are both folded. It's back to Nicholas on the button.
Folded around to the blinds. And Ace Queen here for Daniela Zappiello. And she is all in for just over 500K.
Daniela moves all in on the small blind.
100, 200, 400, 450.
Against Nacho, this definitely isn't a 50-50.
500, 510, 518.
518,000. 518.
She's moved all in for about
Well,
500.
Nacho doesn't look overly happy about this. Queen Jack of clubs. The big blind is out. So back on Nacho.
Marco folds.
518,000.
Yeah, I think not being super happy about it is understandable.
450 more to me.
You know, you don't expect someone else to have exactly ace queen. And when someone shoves on you, it's going to be ace king a decent amount of the time. But this is going to be one of those situations where you just go, call.
I don't know. Nacho's stack at the start of the final table was around 690,000. So this is for a significant percentage of his chips. And I think he's worried about ace king.
I just think for her stack size, it's also going to be ace jack sometimes. It's going to be a lot of pairs.
Nachos.
If he dips down far enough that his face touches his chip stack, I'll be very impressed. Come on. It's 2 more inches.
He says, I can't believe I'm folding this. Nacho lets it go.
Nacho folds. Daniela picks this one up.
Nice shove by Daniela. And again, we, you know, just to say what I said before, there was a mindset in 2009 that girls always have it.
Joe, this will be the last time I remind you. It's 2010.
Sorry, 2010. But hey, I wasn't wrong. It did exist in 2009 also.
Sadly, overt sexism still exists today as well, but
a lot more credit given these days. I won't say it's enough.
well, we're still at the 15-30 level, and it's ace-queen for Andres Korn. jacks here for Nicolas
Made it
Cardan.
90,000.
So 3x open to 90K.
I just want to count.
450.
450.
Around 450.
Always a bit of a sweaty proposition when
I call.
faced with
He called. Call? Okay.
aggressive action,
called.
pocket jacks, lots of action behind you.
Yeah. So this is what, an under the gun open and an under the gun +1 call.
Four.
Yeah.
Four.
And you're just really hoping for no action the rest of the way around the table.
Yeah.
Especially the big blind is really who you don't want to get shoved on.
You got you put the chip.
By.
It's like I can call. I would call every hand. I call.
It's good to know though. It's good. I just bet 90, but it's good to know though.
Okay, Nicholas is called to 90,000.
Okay.
So we have Andres and Nicholas in the pot here.
So I think Cardan put out more chips, and Korn says, good to know that you're willing to call more, kind of betraying the strength of his hand slightly.
I
Okay,
guess.
flop comes down. 4
And
hearts.
all
5 of hearts,
strawberries
6 of hearts.
on the flop. Queen high flush draw for flush draw even for
Andres
Korn.
has moved all
Jack
in.
high flush draw for Cardan, and Andres just shoves.
Oh, the open shove here. Like,
Sometimes only do.
I feel like you got to call it off with the jacks.
344.
I remind you of the Jack 9 hand from earlier on. That's right, John Delano. This is a Street Flash board. Street Flash.
Like, I think you're just going to be up against a big heart so often.
He called.
All right, Nicholas is called.
Yeah, and Cardan has called. It is a coin flip on the flop. Jacks ahead for now, but aces, queens, and hearts all working for Andres Korn.
Post flop flip.
Andres is all in because ace of spades,
But you didn't have a
queen
monster.
of hearts.
If you check,
Yeah.
I would have been scared.
Nicholas is called. The pair of jacks.
Okay. Yeah.
Turn card. He's the king of spades.
Spades.
And Andres Korn could be heading for the exit in 8th place.
All right, let's see the river
I'm
card,
so
please.
Harmony ass. Would an actual coin flip speed things along here?
The river card is the queen of spades. It's not the flush, but it is a higher pair than jacks, and Korn doubles up.
I don't know if you have to push. It's tough for, I don't know.
Oh,
I
don't.
don't play that good. I have to check that part.
Perfect answer. I don't know. I don't play that good. Like, that's perfect. That is an amazing response to some unnecessary commentary on the hand.
Porque empujé ya empecé a dudar, obviamente, ¿no? Pero cuando mandé sabía.
Gold's asked, what did he say? Carden said, I don't think you should have pushed. And Andreas just replied, well, I'm not that good. That's perfect.
Bank that one, Joe. You'll find yourself using it yourself one day.
Why? I don't win hands. Nobody ever has a comment for
This
me.
is gonna be first act.
Other than please come back next week. 20K,
Yeah.
40K blinds
Mario
now.
folds over to Andres.
Folds.
Andreas folds.
So Nicola took a little bit of a hit there. Now has king, queen.
I'm still thinking about that hand.
Okay, Nicholas raises. He makes it 90,000 now. Danielle and
Opens
Marco
to
both folded.
90K.
Over to the small blind, Roman.
So this is smaller than a 3x open. A reminder, the blinds are now 20,000, 40,000. We've got ace 10 for Roman Suarez in the small blind.
Roman moves all in.
And he is all in for 256,000.
If your name is Roman Suarez, is there any chance you aren't just going to turn out to be like a super cool dude?
I have to say, I'm not sure about Norbert Ludger's look. I'm not sure the baseball cap goes with the sweater.
None of that goes. It's like they let people choose accessories on their way in, and he just grabbed everything.
Nicholas is called.
So Suarez is the at-risk player. He's ahead for now with ace 10.
Guinda lo quiero, ¿eh? Dama y hacen guinda. Que se me salga el corazón.
That's right, lackeys. Needs at least 13 pieces of flair.
Roman Suarez. 2, 3, and turn them over. Spread them out.
Well, neither player has a diamond. Running diamonds would give us a chop pot.
They all about the street flash poker in Uruguay.
Cambio de cinta. Cambio de cassette, vamos. Dejo el corazón acá, me voy a
All right, Emma, take it easy. OMG, what crap dealing. All right, calm down. They got their own way of doing things in other parts of the world.
All right, let's see the turn card, please. Okay, the turn brings a 3 of hearts.
Ace high is holding, and there is an 86% chance
Ace 10 is still
that Roman Suarez doubles up here.
All right, let's see the river card.
Let's do that, Mike.
River brings a
Ace
7
high
of
holds.
hearts.
And golf applause for Roman Suarez. How has that changed the dynamic at the final table? No eliminations so far. Still 8-handed. Norbert Ludger still the chip leader. Cardin second in chips. Cole third in chips. Suarez the shortest stack. Nacho Barbero also close to the danger zone.
Danger zone. Cardin not doing as bad as I would have thought after those 2 losses.
Okay, Bernardo's going to be first to act on this hand.
Fold.
Folds.
King of diamonds and the deuce of spades.
I thought he was going to do the old look at that king of diamonds twice and just go with it.
So this has been folded to the button. Jack 5 off.
One time for me.
And round to the small blind, and Norbert's going to call with Jack 3 of spades. Nacho with ace 8.
Nacho on the large blind.
Nacho's
old
not
large blind.
on the large blind, he's in the big blind, honestly.
Check.
Nacho checks.
Flop.
Nacho under-repping this ace 8.
Flop comes down. 5 of clubs. 7 of diamonds. 9 of spades. Norbert's checked. Nacho's check. Jack of clubs.
Check.
Of course Ludger gets there on the turn.
70.
And now Nacho's betting.
60.
Nacho bets 60,000.
Call.
Norbert calls the 60,000.
Yes.
I love Ludger.
Oh, it's a straight on the river for Nacho. Wipes nose, rubs mouth, reaches for chips.
Ugh.
Check.
Wow.
Robert's checked. It's up to Nacho.
I mean, I don't hate the check. A lot of the time, you could get your opponent to maybe bluff at this. You know, you've checked it down the whole way.
Yeah. Well, Nacho is betting 160,000.
Nacho bets 160,000.
I mean, that's almost full pot, though, right?
I've got an idea, guys. How about Ludger surrenders some of the unnecessary accessories and Nacho agrees to do some buttons up?
Norbert folds, shows a jack of spades, folds the
Norbert
hand. Nacho
folds
picks
the
us up
river
$160,000
and Nacho picks
bet.
up the pot.
That's a good fold.
Yeah.
Real good fold.
25,000, 50,000, the blinds. And 31 of the final table. Still no eliminations yet.
Fold.
Okay, it's folded around to Nicholas.
Fold.
He's out. Daniela folds. Marco folds. Is back to the button.
And Roman Suarez
You raise.
is raising on the button. And we've established that Suarez is still the shortest stack out of the final 8.
Nacho seems very amused by Suarez.
It's going to make it 140,000 to go.
Was this like a quarter of Suarez's chips?
Back on Norbert on the small blind.
Fold.
Norbert folds. So we're to Nacho.
A7.
All in.
Nacho
And
goes all in.
Barbero shoves on Suarez. I believe it is all in to call. Yep.
700.
And here we go.
We've got a call.
Domination Nation, Joseph.
This hand played pretty weird. Suarez making a raise that I would think is sort of indicative of a super strong hand. Nacho then shoving, and then Suarez calling with a hand that I feel like is never ahead when the big blind shoves on you.
Okay, Rowan's moved all in. He's got 600,000. Nacho does have him
I guess I
covered.
can't say never ahead. I guess King Queen will shove sometimes.
Rowan's got ace of hearts, 5 of
Nacho
spades.
very
Nacho has
confused
ace of
about the
diamonds,
call.
7 of spades. All right, we're going to take a look at the flop.
No quiero que haya
He looks
problemas. Chop está bien.
looks annoyed somewhat. I guess
Yeah.
Ace 5 does have some straight possibilities. That's I guess you'd rather they have Ace 6, but
Flop
with the
comes
7
down.
right there, I mean,
Jack
come
of
on,
clubs,
lock it up.
Queen of clubs,
Always
7 of
coming
hearts.
7, and
Nacho's
Suarez
got a pair of
drawing super
sevens.
thin. Could be drawing dead on the
That's
turn.
lead.
Si sale 5-5 me voy corriendo. Bueno,
All right, let's see the turn, please.
The turn card is another 7, and it is over. We finally have a KO from this final table. Roman Suarez out in 8th place, cashing for $20,850. Down to 7 in the LAPT Season 3 Punta del Este main event final table.
Let's see the river card, please.
era todo lo que los PokerStars querían, ¿no?
$600,000 all in from Roman.
It was not a $600,000 all-in, Michael. The chips have no cash value. You know that. Eight-5 offsuit. That goes in the muck. Jack-9 of strawberries. Also folded.
Fours.
Round 2, Bernardo Diaz, who has King 10.
Bernardo moves all in.
And he is all in for 220K. So what's that? Fewer than 5 bigs?
Yep.
No idea how Diaz lost most of his chips. We may never know. I guess in the grand scheme of things, doesn't matter. It was 11 years ago.
How much?
220.
Okay.
Boy, how's it still kind of a tough decision with King 4? I mean, looking at the hole cards, it's a fold.
King high.
He goes.
Okay, Nicholas is called.
It's good, right?
That's not good news for you, Nicola.
Okay, we'll see what the cards are here.
So
It's a
Diaz,
$20,000 all.
decent favorite for a double up here.
He's got his tournament life at risk now. He shows a king of diamonds.
Vamo
and a spade.
indeed.
Nicholas is called. He shows a king of clubs, 4 of diamonds. All right, let's see the flop.
Carden kind of falling apart here.
Flop
King
comes
10
down.
holding.
Ace of clubs, queen of clubs, queen of spades.
Carden can chop it now.
Yes.
Problem is, there's some more
The jack comes.
Yeah, let's see. It's not a bad flop for you.
They could do it.
I like how Carden's worried about the jack and not just, you know, brick.
5 of spades on the turn.
And that is a double up for Diaz.
Bernardo's going to win the hand with his
It looked
king
like
of
Diaz
diamonds.
saw a 4 at first.
This was a way better.
So 220.
Yeah.
The guy had such a bad decision.
So at the end of that hand, Diaz with a stack of 500K. But remember, we are watching highlights of this final table from 2010. Several hands will not have made the edit.
Pasa el dealer. Okay.
So we're going to check on how things stand going into the next hand. And Diaz has chipped up to 705K. Daniela Zappiello is the short stack right now with 11 big blinds. Nicola Carden has also dropped from second in chips to 6th on the leaderboard. Norbert Ludger still leads.
Haven't seen Daniela get involved much from early position. Folds the queen 10.
Fold. Fold. Fold.
A6 for Diaz on the button.
All in.
All in for 700K.
Moved all in on the button.
This is quite a shallow final table right now.
Yeah.
And pocket
Uh-oh.
sevens for Andres Korn.
Paga.
Andreas is called. Actions on Nicholas now on the big blind. Nicholas
And here
folds.
we
All right, let's
go.
bring in his big blind, please.
26.
Please. Hands.
So distracted. Diaz looks so much like a friend of mine, a poker player. Really throwing me off.
You know the deal, Joe. Bad lookalikes. Has to be someone in the mainstream. Can't just be another poker player.
No, I know.
50 or 70, 30. I don't call it 4s. 7s, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, Bernardo's went all in for 700,000 even. He's got an ace of hearts, a 6 of spades. All right, let's go ahead.
Did Mike say ace of farts? Please say he did.
Flop comes down. Jack
There is a
of diamonds,
6
6 of
on the
clubs,
flop.
4 of clubs.
So aces and sixes now working for Diaz.
The lead still.
As things stand, though, Andres Korn is a 4-1 favorite with sevens.
If you get a bad beat to sevens, at least have the courage to do it with an ace and not two sixes.
Andres Korn now nearly a 9-1 favorite, just one card to come. And if DS doesn't hit, we will be down to 6 players. The river card is a 9. Sevens still good. And Bernardo Diaz is out in 7th place, which is worth $31,270. And we are now 6-handed at this final table.
And just think about it, man. You could have gone out in 7th place 2 hours ago, but no. You lasted 2 more hours and did not ladder up at all.
Suarez out. Diaz out. Marco Casido, who's been very quiet at this final table, is now the short stack. Andres Korn has taken the chip lead, slight advantage over Norbert Ludger. And the blinds are 30-60.
Look at John Delano with the "We Run Bad" reference in chat.
Nice. Is that a Gibbons from Ludger? Did he just limp under the gun with ace-queen?
The UTG limp with ace-queen, absolutely. Gibbonsing all the live long day.
Norbert's called.
Nacho in with Jack-9 of hearts. Andres Korn with King-Queen of spades, also in.
Back the necklace on a button.
I kind of feel like you should just be calling after an under-the-gun limp.
It's over to Marco on the big blind.
Oh, Zappiello is in from the small with 4 deuce. Casado checks his option with 5 deuce. 5 out of the remaining 6 players going to the flop.
It's the only way you can punish
Nobert and Nacho in the hand. 4 players.
that sort of move.
All right. Hey, the flop
Ace,
down.
ace,
Diamonds,
10.
of diamonds, ace of spades. Danielle's check. Marco.
I mean, does it ever not work out for these people? Limps ace-queen, gets 4 callers, has 83% of the equity 5 ways after the flop. Like,
And then just blasts off 200K into the pot.
Nacho falls, folds.
Yep. 0 value.
Norbert picks it up, and he shows.
you
a
feel
ace
like a
of
really good
hearts.
player, though, when that happens. Back. Oh, and shows it.
Classic Norbert. So we have got one super short stack at this final table. I mean, there's a lot of short stacks. It's playing pretty shallow right now, but Caicedo is like running on vapor.
How about the ace of spaper vapor?
Got ace 7. I'm surprised, to be honest with you. He looked at the other card. All in for 350K.
How much?
350K.
5 bigs.
And Nacho's going to call the all-in.
Call. Okay.
Okay, everybody's folded around.
Are there still players to act, or are we just waiting for them to
I
do
don't
the
think
cards?
so. I think we're just chilling for a minute.
Okay, that's fine. I'm
Yeah.
down to chill.
Flop comes
Queen
down.
high
Queen of
flop,
spades, jack of
plus the
diamonds,
straight draw for
9 of
Nacho as
spades.
well.
Gives Nacho a pair of queens.
Not looking good for Caicedo.
Turn card.
No shot against 2010 Nacho Barbero.
Turn.
Okay.
6 of hearts on the turn.
Caicedo drawing very thin. The river is another queen, and that is the elimination of Marco Caicedo. 6th place finisher, $41,690. Another pot for Nacho Barbero as we go to 5 players in this LAPT main event from February 2010.
Okay, the 5 cars.
And we'll continue the action in just a moment. Brief hiatus from the Poker Joe, a chance for a little bit of self-promotion. Let's talk about this week's podcast. The latest episode of Poker in the Ears was released just before we came live with the stream today. And we had a special guest this week. Okay, last week we had Ryan Firpo. We had a writer of the latest Marvel movie on the show. But I do think that a lot of people will still be interested in this week's interview. Tonka, big name in poker, big name in the Twitch world, and someone who we've never had on the show before.
Yeah, like definitely a fan favorite. Always been somewhat jealous of Tonka's popularity, somewhat jealous of the fact that people are always clamoring for more Tonka. So if you can't beat them, join them, or at the very least, ask them to join you. And the more I get to know Tonka, the more I see what everybody else is seeing in him and why he's so likable. He's just a really fun, nice dude to hang out with. Fun interview. Really enjoyed getting to know him more. And I'm looking forward to hopefully, you know, when live poker opens back up again, spending some more time hanging out with the dude because he does seem like a blast.
No, for sure. So wherever you normally get your podcasts from, once this stream is done today, make sure you check out the latest episode of the Poker in the Ears podcast. And we always do this on the show itself, but I think we should do here as well. We are always on the lookout for people to come on the show as superfans and compete for prizes on the specialist subject of their choice. We're always interested in who you would like to hear from. Who do you think we should have on the show as a guest? And anything else you want to say, hashtag PITE on Twitter is the best way to get in touch. That's how you will come to our attention, and that's how we'll consider your application to be a superfan, or indeed your suggestion for who could be a guest on the show. We are going to be taking a summer break. In fact, once this little mini-series of PokerStars Retro comes to an end in mid-June, the podcast will also go on summer break as well, but we'll come back strong in August, and we're always going to be on the lookout for new names. I guess people who maybe aren't on our radar, Joe, or people that, you know, we haven't spoken to for a while that maybe people would like to hear from again.
Yeah, and I would, if you're gonna, I would like to have a little bit more interaction with, you know, just various questions and comments about the show, about our guests, about upcoming guests. You know, we used to read off, you know, various things people were saying on social media. I wouldn't mind working a little bit of that back into the show also. And if you're going to apply to be a super fan, you know, movies are obviously very easy to do, right? Because it takes 2 hours to watch it. I can watch it if I haven't seen it. Patrick can watch it if he hasn't seen it. However, if you want to come up with some specialist subjects that are not entertainment based, just trivia about various things, like we did trivia about the 2020 a couple of weeks back. That was fun too, right? Whether it's history or science or math or whatever. I wouldn't mind doing a couple of more specialist subjects like that. Those are always kind of fun too.
Absolutely. And we've had a few people have sport as their specialist subjects, including Andres Korn, who was at the final table of the LAPT event we are covering today. We are going back to the FT of this tournament from 2010. It is the LAPT Punta del Este main event, played in Uruguay in February 11 years ago. They are still playing for significant sums of money. With 5 players remaining, everyone's locked up more than 50K. Up top, $279,330. It is the concluding chapter of the final table of this main event. Let's get back to it. And these are the chip stacks. Norbert Ludger still in front. Nacho and Nicola Cardan also have more than $1 million. Daniela Zappiello is the short stack with 640K. Blinds are 30K and 60K.
I wonder if now that Brazil's such a player on the international scene, if Daniela Zappiello is back in action somewhere online and we just don't know about it.
Just fold it over to Nicholas on the small blind.
Well, this
All in.
is
Nicholas goes all
Cardan
in.
shoving on Zappiello, and she
Daniela has
calls
called.
all in with the best hand.
Okay, let's count down Daniela. She's smallest, I think. Yeah.
I don't know if
Queen
this
and
is
six.
what you're supposed to do. $1 million into
50.
635,000, I guess.
4.
Queen 6 seems close to me.
35. 635.
Não quero ver. Eu não quero ver, sério. Vocês me falam se eu ganhei. Que
Have we seen
demônio,
Cardan
meu
win a
Deus.
single all-in in the several he's been involved in?
Well, if he wins this one,
Okay, let's see the flop.
Daniela Zappiello will be eliminated.
Isn't it weird she doesn't have a rail?
Flop comes 9 of spades, 4
Uh-oh,
of spades.
2 spades, and
3
it's a
of
flip.
hearts. Okay, let's see the turn card. Brings a deuce of hearts on the turn.
Straight. You gotta fade the street. You gotta fade the flash. Also
Let's see
pairs.
the river card.
That's a lot of outs to dodge.
She fades.
The jack of clubs. Daniela wins her all.
Oh,
in.
why am I so happy just watching her be happy?
Okay.
Coin flip to the river almost.
Yes. Okay.
We're getting more outs. Every card I open give you more outs.
Ah,
4. 35. Okay. Ai, não chegou.
I mean, that's one thing that
you.
that ladies nail, right? Is just like being able to show that happy emotion and it doesn't come across as arrogant or like over celebrating. Just pure actual joy. And you can't help be happy for them.
Well, Nacho Barbero has opened here with Queen
Nacho raises,
Jack.
makes it 180 to go.
Fold.
It's folded around. To
Round to
Norbert on the
Norbert
big blind.
Ludger, who's got pocket tens.
Okay, this should be a matchup for the ages. Ludger versus Barbero.
Flop comes down. Ace of spades.
5 deuce.
5 of spades.
Ludger still
This is
ahead.
Checked.
Yeah, this is a great flop here to watch some actual poker be played. Barbero in position with the worst of it.
200.
Nacho bets 200,000.
1 over for the tens. Big pop brewing.
No, says Norbert.
Folds. Shows a pair of tens.
Wow, don't show it.
I don't know how you do it.
Nacho's just like,
You never pay me off when I have a good hand. So sick.
Okay, dealer button moves over to
what a
Daniela.
jerk.
You're sick. I'm really.
Norbert has a small blind. Nacho has a large blind.
Okay.
Andreas will
No,
be
I
first
won.
to act on his
So,
hand.
so first hand I won. Yeah.
Oh, he feels good about himself too. He believes
I
it.
had it straight when you folded the shack. No. 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 When you folded the jack, I had it straight. You were right. You will see it on
5
television.
mil.
So sick. I had the open-ended on the turn.
Now that part is true.
I don't understand how you fold anyway. So sick. If I'm read, I don't know how.
Nicholas is the big blind. Daniela will be first to act.
Fold.
Norbert gives up the 10-3. Here's Nacho with Queen 10.
Nacho raises. He's going to make it 200,000.
Fold.
Andreas folds on the small blind. Over to Nicholas.
9 diamonds. 9 of clubs.
I call.
All in.
Nicholas moves all in, and Nacho
Wow.
is called.
Yeah.
Where's the escalator button?
Such a short stack for Cardin. Barbero priced in to call with any 2.
Cardin's still 0 for 5 in all ins, I think.
Queen of spades.
I got a raise to 200, so you know I'm committed. So you don't
Yeah, I know, but
stupid
like,
move with ace high. You know.
But 9-9.
I'm not folding on the bottom this.
I know.
Yeah, we get it.
Anyway, if I make it 180, I'm still calling you. It's just a
Yeah.
Okay, buddy. Cool.
Okay, let's take a look at the flop, please.
It's all fun and games till the dealer puts out the board.
Good flop
comes
for
down,
Cardin.
Hearts, king of diamonds, 4
Set
Oh, no.
of 9s, but has spotted that it's a straight draw. It is a belly buster for Barbero.
Yeah, I think it's already realized it's over. Don't do it.
3 of diamonds.
How much? 5?
Cardin doubles up.
If we could get some more explanation about the pre-flop action there, I would appreciate it.
I should pay with this. No. Mira con que iba
If you
para-
guys have any more to say about it. Would you have called 280?
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yep.
Would you have raised Queen 9?
Yes.
Esa-
It's ready?
What?
I was
Okay.
rolling quite a lot, yeah.
Dab is up.
All right, Cardin, you finally got one. 1 for 5 now.
80. Fold.
Okay, let's fold it around to Andres.
Pocket rockets.
$200.
Gonna make it 200,000 now.
Wow. Call.
Daniela goes all in.
All in.
Uh-oh.
All in.
Daniela
And
Zappiello
Andreas
moves
calls,
all
we all
in
in.
with King Queen. She's run into the aces of Andres Korn.
There we go. All right. Andreas, how much did you have? You had a little less than her, right?
6, 850, 920.
920,000 for Andreas. That says all in. Daniela has him covered. She's got
Interestingly,
just a little
because
over
she
a
got
million.
that double up earlier on, she actually has Korn covered, but not by much.
Ahí está, eso, ¿no?
So will Korn be a freak on a leash, or will he be here to stay?
Okay, let's see the flop.
Imposible.
Ooh, little bit of hope.
Flop.
No es malo.
Jack
Dama
of
10 J2 sería peor.
Jack of
No es tan malo.
Each player has 2 paired out. All right, we'll see the turn card, please. Turn card is
Oh, that's bad.
Ese es malo. Ese sí que es malo.
We got some outs. Got more outs.
Somewhere else.
¡Qué demora!
Un 2, piden un 2. Un 2 piden los brasileños.
King.
All right, how about
Or a queen,
Daniela
maybe.
Zappiello, a little
See the river
Khaleesi for a bad look-alike.
Calera.
What is that? Who won that? Who won that? Aces?
Aces are good. A huge pot for Andres Korn. Nearly 2 million now. And we talk about danger zone. Hyper, supreme, intense danger zone for Daniela, who's going to be pretty much forced all in with any 2 cards on the next hand.
I mean, the good news is if they had colored up those red chips, she'd be out.
Nacho folds.
Blinds 40,000, 80,000, and we are
Nicholas on the button.
on the button. Round to the small blind and Queen 5.
Yeah.
Zappiello all in for 320k. Actually, she had more than I thought. Or maybe a few hands have passed and she managed to chip up slightly.
I was going to say you're lucky to have it even folded around to the small blind.
Yeah.
But ace-8 running into, not so lucky.
Ludger. Takes forever to make the call.
He calls the 300,000 all in from Daniela. 1, 2, 300. Yeah, 300.
Have you ever wondered what it'd be like to work for
Daniela
PokerStars?
on her
Check out our
all
latest
in
opportunities
has,
here.
called with a
I've
queen
always
of
wondered what it'd be like
spades,
to work for
5 of
PokerStars.
spades. She has queen, 5 of spades. Norbert has called her with ace of diamonds, 8 of diamonds. We got ace 8 versus queen 5.
Yeah.
Well, she has paired her queen on the flop, and she has the spade draw as well.
You can't lose this. This is these ones just they should just stop dealing here. Yeah.
Isso é tortura. É tortura. Essa demora toda.
I think she's saying the dealer is slow like a turtle.
The river card is a 10. It's the straight to the ace. It's Broadway for Ludger.
No way.
And Daniela Zappiello is eliminated in 5th place. She cashes for $52,110.
She was definitely my favorite part of this final table. That's a bummer.
No deal, no deal.
Still happy, smiling, even going broke. Oh, there's the rail. There is the rail. They were just keeping it. Look at that.
Sort the
imposing.
hat
I
out,
love it.
Norbert. If you're going to insist on wearing that baseball cap, put it on properly.
Norbert's going to be first to act.
Oh, she said that the speed of the dealer is a torture. Thank you, Rafa Casa. I was close.
Nacho folds. Over the small blind, Andreas. What is that?
Call.
So Ludger up to his old tricks, just calling again, allowing the blinds in cheap, and Cardan's case, allowing him in for free.
Okay.
Flop comes down. 5 of clubs, jack of
5. In
diamonds,
fact,
5
Gibbons
of
confirmed it was an
diamonds.
under the gun limp.
Checked.
So, okay, guys. You limp king 3, you flop the flush draw, but guess what? The big blind got a free
110.
look at the top
Nicholas
3
bets
cards
110,000.
with 5 high and flopped you drawing thin.
Call.
Ludger
Call.
calls the 110,000.
Andreas
Korn gets out of the
folds.
way, heads up to the turn.
Turn card brings a 10 of clubs.
10 of clubs. I was going to say the 4 of diamonds would be the money card for Cardan.
I feel like Ludger could just go nuts here for some reason.
Nicholas bets 300.
So Cardan's going to lead now for 330?
Well, he led the flop. He led out. Remember, it was unraised pre. No one had the betting lead. So
Right.
Cardan justifiably bet trips on the flop, got called by the flush draw, gets called by the flush draw on the turn as well.
Wow.
1.16 million in the pot.
I don't know how you can be so lucky to lead twice here, get called twice. I mean, what is the worst hand that Cardan's leading with? Like just a random jack?
Nicholas has moved all in.
Oh, please make a king high hero call.
No.
Please.
I've never had a hand work out this well for me where I could lead with the 5 twice and they just missed their diamond. Cardan on a comeback.
2.1 million now.
Me full house.
No full
He's
house.
crazy,
No.
he's French.
And Carden is now the chip leader with 2.1. Ludger 1.7 near enough. Korn 1.56 million. The shortest stack is Nacho Barbero with 740k. I love by the fact that we still show that Daniela Zappiello cashed out in 5th, and we've completely forgotten about the players who finished in 8th, 7th, and 6th.
It's almost as if I did the graphic.
Oh.
I'm like, I'll tell you who the last person went out is. Before that, I have no idea.
Yeah, Andres.
You have 800 total, 780.
You know?
Nicholas folds.
Fold.
It's another Ludger limp.
All in.
All in.
Nacho's moved all in. Corbin folds.
You punish those limpers, Nacho. You do your thing.
Nacho definitely thinks he's the best player at the table, and he's probably not wrong.
$160,000.
This makes it 160,000 to go.
Ludger flats the raise in position with 5s. And Korn is in from the big blind with 6-5.
He's not rotting in vain.
Okay, flop comes down. Queen of diamonds.
Dama,
Deuce of spades. 4 of
Deuce.
spades.
Check.
So top pair for Cardan.
Nicholas bets.
200.
200,000.
210.
We've seen Ludger fold in worse spots than this.
Yeah.
It is hard to immediately put your opponent on. Oh,
what's he doing?
Raise. Korn immediately flings back in his chair. Wanted to maybe take a shot at catching the gut shot.
910.
This is a min raise, right? The bet was 200,000, and he just clicks it to 400.
Yeah.
Weird.
200,000 more. 200,000 more, right?
Okay, Nicholas is called.
Yeah, you're not going to get a lot of folds except for hands that you're already beating.
Actions on Nicholas.
Check.
What are you doing, Ludger? Stop!
I call.
Hold.
Oh, wow.
Nicholas is
Yeah.
called.
And is drawing to 1 out because we saw Andres Korn fold a 5.
Okay, Norbert went all in for 910,000.
Norbert just imploded.
You know, we've seen it time and again, James. People make tight fold, and then just, you know, for lack of a better word, I don't like to word it like this, but punt eventually.
And Norbert Ludger, who came into this final table as chip leader, exits in 4th place, cashing for $72,960. At least we're spared that ill-fitting baseball cap now.
I'm glad to see Carden in the mix. He had a pretty tough run for a little while, and it looked like he was going to go broke pretty early.
Raised, he's made it 230,000 to go.
230,000.
I'm all in.
All in.
Nacho goes all in.
Oh,
1.7 total.
Another coin flip on our hands.
Hold.
Nicholas calls.
Nacho Barbero racing for his tournament life. Ace-10 against 9s.
Like the Deepwater Horizon oil spill versus Occupy Wall Street. One of these two things from 2010 has a slight mathematical advantage.
And right now it's the ace-10 with the advantage. Second pair for Nacho.
10-3 jack on the flop, giving Nacho a pair of tens.
Fuck my life. I make the worst.
Let's go ahead and see the turn, please. 5 of clubs on the turn.
So unless there is a 9 on the river, Nacho Barbero is going to double up to nearly 3.2 million.
Deuce of clubs
And that's going to give him the chip lead at this 3-handed final table.
Te pusiste buena, dirían algunos, ¿eh? ¿Cómo? Te pusiste buena de pronto.
1.100.000, 1.500.000, 1.650.000.
Nachos.
1.650.000.
Getting
Now,
paid.
the blinds are big and the stacks are shallow. Nacho, as chip leader, I don't even think has a 50 big blind stack.
Well, we're
In
about to
fact,
find out.
Only 39 bigs, 25 bigs for Nicola Cardan and Andres Korn with just 12 big blinds. I mean, that now has taken first position on the leaderboard of worst graphics ever created.
Chips/prizes.
I mean,
Esta es una buena mano para no jugar.
spacing.
Yo te avisé.
What were they thinking?
All in.
Andres Korn, short stacked, all in with King 10.
9 is
Focus on the
Esta
positive.
es una buena mano para no jugar. Bienvenido.
Domination Nation. If Nacho calls, and my guess is he does.
Nacho's called.
Pues 6 era. 960.
Argentina versus
Andres
Argentina.
has moved all in with 960,000. He's been called by Nacho. 950,000 all in. Sorry about that, everybody. And Nacho has called him with
All this nachos and corn is making me hungry.
Okay, we'll go ahead and see the flop, please. 6 of spade on the burn.
Queen of 5 deuce, King Jack holding.
Queen of diamonds, 5 of spades, deuce of diamonds. So queen, 5, deuce. Your card is 6 of hearts.
okay.
And Andres Korn looking for a 10 on the river,
8 of
doesn't hit
hearts.
and has to make do with a 3rd place finish in this LAPT Punta del Este main event.
Andreas is going to be
Worth
the 3rd place finisher.
Just short of $100,000, $99,020. But here's the thing, Andres, 7 years from now, you will crush Joe Stapleton at World Cup Trivia in Superfan versus Stapes.
Just 7 short years. That's all you need to wait. All right,
So-
heads up. How many hands of heads up are we going to have? I say 2.
I'll take the over. 50K, 100K blinds.
Pues,
Nacho makes it 230,000.
Nacho with the chip advantage right now over Nicola Cardan.
Are these guys going to play some flops?
all in. How much?
All in.
No.
Nope.
Nicholas has moved all in.
1 point. It'll be 1.4.
I call.
Okay, Nacho's
Wow.
called the all in.
I mean, 15 big blinds, Queen 10.
Cannot fall. Cannot fall.
Ah, maybe.
It still feels kind of close.
Yeah.
Like, what is Carden shoving with?
Well, Nacho says he can't fold this.
250. No way, 250.
Yeah, you put
I think if you have like a 60 big blind stack, you can maybe call the 15 here.
Okay, Nicholas is on
Nacho
for
not that
about
far behind, by the way,
1,510,000.
44% equity, and that's a 44% chance that this tournament
Nicholas has
ends
turned
on
over
this
ace of
hand.
diamonds, 7 of spades. Nacho's called the all-in with a queen of hearts, 10 of diamonds. So I got queen 10 versus ace 7. Right now, Nicholas is in the lead. All right, let's go ahead and see the flop, please.
One hand of heads up.
Ace
Flop comes
high
down with a
is
6 of
holding.
diamonds, 8 of clubs, king of spades.
44% to 26%. Real quick.
Nicholas is still in the lead. Turn brings a 9 of spades.
That's a weird card.
Oh fuck, you had the 7. I didn't see you had the 7 as well. Yeah.
But I don't have the
I
10.
have to dodge a lot.
But I don't have the 10. But I have the Shack. How more outs?
Still most of the deck in Carden's favor.
No,
Yeah.
See the river card?
The river is the 4 of clubs. That is a double up for the Frenchman, and this heads-up battle
Give Nicholas
continues.
this pot. He's going to win this one.
And it's pretty much evens Stevens.
I like it.
So with this here pot, they're virtually dead even in chips.
So
now.
maybe we see a flop?
Each player having about 3 million.
1 million?
I mean, we saw a flop there too, but
I know what you meant.
they're showing an awful lot of like counting.
And Nacho seems to be showing more and more chest as this final table goes on. Are we sure he's not unbuttoning with every elimination?
He could be.
Well, now we have to play poker.
If you got it, flaunt it.
All-ins.
Hey, Nick's going to raise. He's going to make it 220,000 to go.
I call.
He good.
Nacho's going to call.
Mira, 3.
Okay. Flop me, dealer. Do the cards.
Flop comes down.
6,
of diamonds,
5,
6 of clubs,
deuce.
5 of diamonds.
And King 10 still good against Jack 10.
I feel like we need to see more hands like this in TV poker highlights. This is poker right here. Missing the flop.
False. Okay.
And that is going to give Nicolas Cardan the
Okay, Nick,
advantage
230,000
over Nacho Barbero.
Folded. Nacho's
Still
gonna have the button.
relatively
I think we're gonna
even.
do a dealer change.
There is Umberto with 2 of his sons.
Are they not going to show the dealer change? I mean, come on.
And these are the stacks of the final 2 players. Cardan with 3.27 million. Nacho Barbero with 2.8 million.
Sorry.
Nicolas Cardan, or as I like to call him, Cardi N.
Okay, Nicholas has the button. Actions on him.
By the way, this is the 3rd hand of heads up that's made it into the highlight show.
Okay, buddy. We get it.
Raise makes it 220,000.
Raise.
Raise.
Nacho's announced raise.
$600.
6.
It's going to go to 600,000.
Yikes. Here we go.
Do you know how much you have total?
2 million more.
I always love it when someone's bluffing with the best hand.
And don't forget when you bluff by asking how many chips
Okay,
they
Nicholas
have.
is going to call.
Oh, wow.
Just
We
seem
are
a
going to
little
go to the
stronger.
flop.
Okay, let's see the flop.
Nacho smirking as if he knows. This is 2 complete.
Flop comes down. 8 of
garbage
diamonds,
hands.
9 of clubs, 8 of spades.
I mean, Carden's going to feel compelled to bluff at this, I think, with how much he was
Nacho's gonna
posturing
bet 500,000.
pre-flop. bluff or float. Maybe just shoves here. You can just feel it coming.
I'm all in.
Aha!
Okay, Nicholas has moved all in. Nacho called the all in.
Oh, wow.
So Nacho's tournament line.
Gets
I mean,
it
you
in
think
with
you're pretty safe, right?
6-4
You're
of
like-
clubs.
All we need is for them to not have an 8, a
All
9,
right, let's see the turn
an
card,
ace,
please.
Jack 10.
Oh, we get a sweaty turn card.
Oh, Joe. Umberto, as long as the cameras are on, he's still here.
And Nacho Barbero doubles up to take the huge chip lead now in this heads-up battle. Six shove, 6 snap.
So sick that you hit a 9. It would have worked
I mean,
on any.
Yeah, I know. I was like, shove.
Good call.
I
I think we both knew, like,
Yeah, I know. I mean,
pre-flop.
I'm commit myself. I'm not committed, but I'm calling if you
Yeah,
shove.
no, obviously, yeah. How much is that? That's 9.
Sorry, did Nacho just say he was calling pre-flop if he shoved?
I've absolutely no idea. Just sit back and look at the pretty colors, Joe. Ace 10 of spades.
Pretty faces of these two
Nacho
handsome
calls.
lads. Oh.
Well, we could see them flip reverse it. Cardan all in, but with the better hand.
Okay,
Domination
Nicholas moved all
Nation
in.
in the Frenchman's favor.
I trapped you.
Nacho
limp
shows ace of
Call
spades,
it off
10 of spades.
with ace 10.
Nicholas
Would have been a trap
shows
in
ace of
almost
diamonds,
any other
king of
situation.
spades. So we got
That
ace
is true.
10 versus ace king.
But not against Ace King.
It was the same anyway.
All right, let's take a look at the flop, please.
Let's.
10.
Ace King holding, and Cardan now an 83% favorite to double up through Nacho Barbero.
There's going to be a lot of heads-up hands in this
All right,
match.
see the turn card, please. 5 of clubs on the turn.
So unless there is a 10 on the river, we play on. It's a 10!
Oh.
Domination, rotation, and victory for Nacho Barbero, winner of the LAPT Punta del Este main event.
What a pose.
It was so much fun. It's a bit sick.
I like the strobe lights. There's probably legal reasons we don't do them anymore.
Yeah, I was like, was cheated at the first
So Nicolas Cardan, the runner-up for $161,550. Nacho Barbero, the winner, $279,330. Plus, he gets the heavy trophy. Don't drop that, especially not on anyone's foot or skull. Joe, I think we've established over the last few weeks that you and I don't really know that much about the history of the Latin American poker tour and who won what.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing I do know, it's that Nacho Barbero had a lot of success on that tour, and I don't think this is the last time we're going to be seeing him at a final table.
No, and, forget this spoiler next time we do retro, but one of the things I remember from this era, which is very little, is that Nacho wins about 9 of these.
Right.
He has like a crazy win streak. I don't know which ones are televised. I don't know what seasons they happen, but I seem to remember Nacho just being like the guy when it came to the LAPT. So not only will we see him at more final tables, but he's probably going to lift another trophy or two along the way.
Meanwhile, there was another event held in Punta del Este in February of 2010. After the main event concluded, a special televised / live streamed event called the LAPT Team Pro Challenge. And the idea of this is it's essentially a 2050 cash game played at the Punta del Este resort and an invitational of mainly PokerStars Team Pros. They were allowed to sit down with anything between $10,000 and $30,000. I don't quite understand why it's 2050, not 2550. I guess you could argue it's the same as 2.5 no limit, just with zeros.
It's probably because of the chips. Maybe it's because the casino chips has $10 chips and doesn't have, doesn't have 25s.
That's what it'll be. No quarters. So 2050, 10K, 30K buy-in. So a lot of the team pros of the era at the table, including Nacho Barbero. Actually, no, he's not in this game. My apologies. I thought he would be. But we have got Andre Akari. We have got Leo Fernandez. We have got Alex Brenes, one of the three Brenes brothers. Not Umberto, but Alex Brenes. We have got Aniel Guillen. Walter Sales, remember him? He's at the table. Christian de Leon. There are two players who I don't think were on PokerStars books. Greg Thompson from the USA and this is a weird one, Neil Bad Beat Channing from the United Kingdom. I have no idea what Neil was doing in Uruguay. Maybe he satellited into the Punta del Este main event, but somehow finds himself sat with $20,000 in a 2050 cash game that gets televised in South America.
Well, Neil is an incredibly entertaining dude, and I hope some of that comes through in this. I hope he's not quiet because there aren't a ton of native English speakers at the table, because that guy is fun to watch.
Yeah, I think around this time, Neil had actually launched his own poker site, Black Belt Poker, of course, now represents Sky Poker. Interesting to see how he fits in as we get to this... what's it called again? Team Pro Challenge. It's a 2050 cash game. Let's not worry about semantics. Let's just see who's got what. So reminder, everyone can buy in for between 10 and 30K. Most players have bought in for 10. Aniel Guillen in for 15. Leo Fernandez in for the maximum. Neil Channing in for 20K. So 2050 with a 10 ante.
Bueno. 50 mínimo para continuar.
And here we go. Alex Brenes opens the action. So no currency signs on these graphics, Joe, but it is worth highlighting that we laughed about the $600,000 bet during the main event. This is real cash money. That's 225 actual dollars raised by Brenes, called by Guillen, $600 in the pot already.
This is awesome. I'm really excited to do some cash game poker. We don't do enough of this, in my opinion. I'm sorry, did King Queen just fold?
Maybe.
Well, it's a good thing they did, because they could have been up against trips. They wouldn't have been, but they could have been. Does that say porn host? No. Poker host. I remember poker host.
Guillen with the flush draw bets $350.
4, 5, 6, 7. That is street flash poker, my babies. 2 flash draws.
And Brenes raises with the street flash draw. Makes it $1,400.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be up against too many full houses here. But with one card to come, seems like a fair fold with the 10 high flush draw.
So, as far as I can tell, and apologies that we don't have more information, there is no other element to the challenge other than this being a 20-50 cash game where at the end of the game, I guess they're going to play a certain session, a certain number of hands. They're just going to be ranked on their profit loss. And that will establish, I guess, who wins the challenge.
So you think at the end of this, there's actually going to be an announcement of someone winning at the challenge?
Oh, God, no. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that for the purposes of creating a narrative here, that's who will have won the challenge. So Fernandez has opened with 8-6, and Aniel Guillen has re-raised with kings.
I mean, 8-6 is exactly the kind of hand you can horse around with in a cash game. Oh!
Yeah. Andre Akari, before he grew hair, has ace-queen.
I don't think I necessarily, like, want to jack this pot up even more with an unpaired hand like ace-queen. Oh, he's just going to fold ace-queen. And remember, like, these guys played with each other a fair amount, right? Like, they, you know, the Latin American poker tour, they know a little bit more about each other's games, have probably played plenty of cash games together. And maybe Aniel has a reputation where he's not going to be super light re-raising pre-flop. Like, maybe you can put him on a pretty strong range and fold something like ace-queen. Fernandez, who I am pretty sure has like an unlimited life bankroll with the backdoor draws sticking around.
I'm
3,
so
4, 5,
Harmony.
6, 7.
I'm so Harmony is expecting a big trophy for the winner of this. I expect you're going to be bitterly disappointed.
Tom Supermod asking me if I like the fold of ace queen. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, because you would have lost to kings and the straight.
Correct.
I mean, they do love their unbuttoned shirts in this part of the world, don't they? Look at Aniel Guillen flashing the chest.
Poor Aniel, you know, Leo's not really supposed to have a whole lot of sixes here.
$2,700 is the bet. And Fernandez shoves on Guillen all into call.
Tom likes the fold too. I will like a fold here as well. It's just tough against a guy like Leo. Like, you assume he is capable of just shoving river here because of his, you know, just sort of his reputation as being a bit of a wild man. But people are just doing this with bluffs far less often, even when they are quote-unquote capable. Like, Aniel's not beating any value hands at all. He's got a bluff catcher. Is Leo bluffing 30K on this river? No. I mean, what bluffs does he have there? 8, 9?
¿Cómo nos va a pegar con el clavo? Leo. Doble piscuí.
Cambiamos.
No tiene como mostrar.
The LAPT Team Pro Challenge. The LAPT TPC.
So action folded around to Andre Akari after the raise from Aniel Guillen with 7 deuce, and Akari re-raising on the button with 10-6.
Is there a 7 deuce thing amongst them, or is this just for pride?
I mean,
oh my God, what's happening? We had one normal hand, and now it's like a complete pissing contest between who can put the most money in with the worst of it. What's Brennis got?
Queens.
Okay. Yeah. Nice try, everybody. See, now
So
you show
much.
what a baller you are. Call it off with 7-4.
So much dead money out there.
Good lay down.
Something like this.
Oh, stop showing off.
Anil's like, can I have my cards back so I can brag too? He only lost 100.
El primero, y ahora sí estoy dudando de las manos. Yo no sé, ahora sí estoy dudando de las manos.
Pero está buenísimo si es bluff.
Lo importante es que lo vamos a ver.
I wonder what's going through Neil Channing's head right now. He's sat there and they're all showing off the fact, oh, I re-raised with 10-6, while I decided to cold 4 with 7-4.
He's probably thinking, I'm going to make a lot of money if I can just play normal. I guess one thing that is worth mentioning or questioning is, are these Uruguayan dollars?
No, these are US dollars.
So in Uruguay, they play with US dollars.
The LAPT was played in US dollars. This cash game is played in US dollars.
Ni para eso tengo. Increíble.
Wow. It's like 20 to 1. The chip sometimes is expensive.
Well, this is Channing versus Fernandez. Jack 10 versus Jack 7. Jack 10 still with the advantage.
Still with the advantage, but it's going to be tough to continue if they don't improve.
Fernandez picks
Especially
up
when,
the club draw. Well, Channing does have the open-ended straight draw, so I imagine we'll call $205 here.
Yeah.
Me detona faixa?
It's just 3 chips.
And that is the straight for Channing, the flush for Fernandez.
Nothing like a horrific cold deck. Oh, 870 is going to get off easy here. I mean, I guess it's a full pot bet, but given how big some of these pots are, it doesn't seem that painful. But I wonder... Oh, he's raising.
Would you say Jack 7? Maybe that's your hand.
Jack 7 of clubs.
What? Did someone just say Jack 7 of clubs out loud?
Yep. Why you know I have Jack 7? You're a genius, huh?
Bien, Leo.
I told you Jack 7. You don't believe me.
Bien, Leo.
Now believe me. If I will raise, maybe you call.
No puede recibir.
Channing raised the river to $2,000, got called.
Better flash. You have part in the float and you bet. So you haven't queen or queen.
Pero están echando cinquito.
I have the best hand. But I think you fold and shot.
I think Neil's raise there looks worse than it is. I think you can get some calls there from 2 pairs and sets possibly. No. Hold on. With the board like that? Ugh. I don't know.
So Walter Salas has opened here with Queen Jack of diamonds, Ace 9 of clubs, And Leo Fernandez is in. Alex Brenner's in the small blind, calls with 5 deuce. Salas has not raised, he's limped, my apologies. And Aniel Guillen gets to see a free flop with king 10 of hearts.
And I wonder if these guys play a little bit more kindly toward the big ol', what is he, an F1 driver?
He was a racing car driver, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't say soft play necessarily, but just a little friendlier. Toward the celebrity.
Betting $155. Aniel Guillen with the best hand, top pair.
Later, Walter.
Check,
Not really
check.
any outs for Leo. This seems like a pretty easy fold. Maybe Leo thinking about bluff raising, but I don't know when a ace high is good here.
Well, makes the call with ace high, and Aniel Guillen gets some chips back.
Like when you get called on that flop, what are they calling you with?
So a reminder, we are watching a cash game from 2010. This was played at the Punta del Este leg of season 3 of the Latin American Poker Tour. The LAPT Team Pro Challenge, mostly members of Team Pro from that era, in a very loud poker room with a few special guest stars, including Neil Bad Beat Channing.
Leo's looking around because he's like, if there's a table more fun than this, I'm going to be at that one.
150, sube. 150 mínimo para continuar. Señor paga.
Alex Brenner's is raised with 9s. Walter Salas calls with ace-jack. Neil Channing flat with queens, and now we have ace-queen of clubs.
Action on Bill Hader.
So this is actually Greg Thompson from the United States of America, who has re-raised to $650.
What is happening here? Good fold by ace-10. I mean, with all this action, fine, but my goodness. The lowest card out there is a 9? Did I catch a 9er in there?
No paga. No paga.
Neil Channing is the only player who calls and is a 7-3 favorite going to the flop.
I mean, so far this has worked out pretty well for Neil. Oh my goodness. This is
queen.
Yeah, hey, look, a little unlucky to make the nut straight up against the nut flush or the near nut flush. And now you have just flopped your opponent so icy cold.
$900.
I don't know if I would even be able to bet this, honestly. Like, I would assume that most of the time, because I have the other 2 queens, that my opponent probably can't have hit this that hard. You're hoping they have aces or kings, really. But this is going to work out for Neil.
Thompson raises to 2,700.
I mean, I think that flat calling is just the play here. Like, anything else, you could get your opponent to fold, especially ace-queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Channing calls. Well, we've got 7,150 in the pot, and we know that Thompson has significantly less than pot behind. 9 of spades on the turn.
You've just got this board so locked up. Absolute worst case scenario. He's got his hand on his head, worried. Worst case scenario, right? You're up against ace, queen of spades.
All in and a call. Thompson drawing dead.
Paga, paga.
What a terrible thing to happen to the guy nobody's ever heard of before.
Your name is Top Set Rainbow.
So Neil Channing is going to win this pot of nearly $18,000. Question, is Greg Thompson going to reload?
Rebuy.
Come on, rebuy.
Chips. Okay.
Oh, please. Pero podemos seguir jugando nosotros, ¿no? Dale.
Oh my goodness. Don't tap the glass.
Ele acabou de perder 10 ele lo chama de fish.
It's a cash game.
In cash game? Sim, mano, lo chama de fish. Are you coming back?
I am not. I only say fish.
Oh wow.
We know we're coming back. We're just asking if we can.
Alex, ¿qué tenía?
50 mínimo.
Nueves, hago set. En el
Did I hear that conversation correctly where Walter Salas is like, hey, maybe we don't call the guy a fish? And Leo's like, nope, he played terribly and I'm being nice.
Pretty much that's how it translates.
There's more cash on the table now.
Meanwhile, Greg's come back with more money.
Doesn't look like he's steaming.
50 mínimo.
Wishing he bought for 20 than 10.
It didn't seem that bad to go broke with top pair, top ticker. I don't know.
I think Fernandez is saying in a cash game it's pretty bad to go broke with just one pair.
Mínimo para continuar.
I thought he was saying in a cash game it's perfectly acceptable to call people fish.
And he seemed to justify it by saying, I won't say any worse than that.
Only?
150 mínimo. Señor,
Well,
paga.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that right now Greg Thompson is not in the #1 position in the LAPT Team Pro Challenge.
Los dejo que tal vez haya revancha. O tal vez.
I mean, I'm not exactly wishing something terrible to happen to Leo Fernandez after that, but I'm not wishing for it.
Leo Fernandez, he's for people like you. Amazing.
¿Qué habla? Pasa.
Still ahead with top. Guillen with the flush draw. Free river card, which is the spade. There you go, Joe.
And
Justice.
It's just one pair for Fernandez. Fernandez checks. I think giving what he thinks is an opportunity to bluff Danielle.
Mínimo para continuar.
De vuelta. No hay J esta vez. No hay dama. ¿Cuántos biscuits hay?
20. Mínimo.
20. Ah, yo por esos 20.
Si pagas más.
¿Cuánto hay si pago?
50.
¿50?
Pero bueno.
Esa oferta es casi que no se puede rechazar.
Fernandez calls, says, show me the king. He's got better than that. He's got the flush.
Give me 50.
They were saying something. They were making some kind of side bet, whether it was going to be 20 or 50. And it ended up being 50, but I couldn't tell what the rest was going to be.
Oh. Monstruo, ¿no? Para mí.
Para mí eres mejor. Gracias.
Fernandez limping with 4 deuce of diamonds. Guillen in with queen 10.
I mean, this is one of the fun things about cash games is you can find yourself in these limp pots or these really cheap pots. You get to play a lot more hands.
Channing decides to raise the minimum, makes it $100 with ace-8 of diamonds. And re-raised by Greg Thompson, who's on his second bullet. $550 with ace-king of clubs. We haven't seen Christian de Leon in action yet.
No, we haven't. Looks
We're
like
going
we're
to see him
about to.
in this hand. He's got kings, and he has re-raised to $2,250.
So unless this show is like completely eliminated de Leon being active, I think you can sort of get a bit of a read here. The guy who hasn't played any hands yet, all of a sudden re-raising 4 people.
Oh, wow. Thompson moves all in.
Oh,
De Leon calls.
Wait, was Leo right?
Oh, wow.
Am I the a-hole?
Thompson's going to get stacked again.
Not necessarily, but probably. It's a lot closer than you'd think, huh? Kings versus ace-king here.
Real. Real.
Tiene 4 outs más.
Yeah, queen for the straight. Club for a sweat. Ace to take the lead. Well, that takes away the club outs. Queens and aces working for Greg Thompson.
Oh, I guess the good news is de Leon didn't have a ton of chips.
That's true. At least Thompson won't have to go to the cage this time.
I think actually what happened was what it looked like, even though Thompson got up from the table, was that everyone at the table threw him chips to like loan him, which is also a really bad sign. When everyone at the table is like just willing to give you chips to stay in the game, it's not good.
So Christian de Leon's kings hold, and he wins a sizable pot. Greg Thompson, now with the worst win-loss ratio of any player at this table in the Team Pro Challenge.
Oh, passage of time.
Yeah, I thought this poker was from 2010, not 1983.
You don't respect long time ago.
Didn't change anything.
No, that didn't change anything.
2010, man. I mean, it just seems like yesterday, but also so long ago.
Andre Akari has opened with King Queen of Hearts. Fernandez has called with Jack 4. Brenner's in with 9-8. Guillen in with Ace-7 of spades.
I mean, if this hand's like anything else, any of the other hands we've seen, someone's got jacks or better in the blinds.
Well, action's been folded to Walter Salas on the button. Salas in with Jack 9. Channing folds the small. Greg Thompson.
Oh, no.
So we are going to go 5-way to the flop.
This is fun. This is what I love about cash poker right here. Playing bingo with the flop.
Wow.
It is crunchy. 7-5-4, all clubs, street flash board. And Fernandez decides to bet 415 bucks with a pair of fours. Brenner's is out. Guillen has the best hand right now, top pair, top kicker.
You can't really fold top pair, top kicker, but in a pot that went this many ways, you have to be real careful.
Five of hearts pairs the board. Guillen now nearly a 9-1 favorite.
Okay, my friend.
1105.
Fernandez fires again.
Yeah, I think on yellow would probably sniff this out that Fernandez, if he had a super strong hand here, probably wouldn't fire twice and fire this big. Oh, it is folding. It's also just so easy to have, you know, flopped huge there with the limp pot. I don't hate the fold.
15 now.
$5 to see the card.
You feel really dumb where you station with a 7 there and they just like flopped a straight flush.
So Christian De Leon and Leo Fernandez both up over $7,000. Neil Channing up nearly 6K, and Greg Thompson, I hate to say it, but the biggest loser in this cash game so far, down more than $18,000. 20-50 stakes, a buy-in of between 10K and 30K per player in the LAPT Team Pro Challenge.
There's a lot of FOMO in cash games too. Like, you know, you see everyone else involved playing strange hands, going 4 and 5 ways to the flop. It is kind of contagious.
Fernandez is opened with
Greg?
4-3. Yeah, Greg just needs to.
Eso es definitivo. Un cliente por lo menos va a tener. Uno es de fijo. Van a haber dos clientes.
Andre Akari calls the re-raise in the big blind. Guillen made it $350 with queens. Looks like Fernandez is going to come along as well.
Fernandez, definitely a fun player.
King 7 deuce. Still, the advantage rests with Guillen and his queens.
Another dry board. Oh, Fernandez. Donk leading this. And let's see if Fernandez doesn't give up again and fires again. Queens are a little tougher to get to fold than a pair of 7s. Oh. Yeah. Love the check back from Aniel. And Fernandez is going to just take the bait. Bet's really small.
Such a silly bet.
It's a great bet if you have a king. It's probably not a great bet ever. I take that back.
Can you beat 4 high?
Dame 5, le digo. O sea, ya se rindió.
Creo que se vienen tirarlas, ¿no?
Sí, yo creo que no tenías chance de ganar. Creo.
Tenías 4 high.
James, I got to tell you, I'm a little offended that they don't have English only on the Latin American Poker Tour. How dare they?
7 pelado.
Yes. 10, caballero.
Team Pro.
How many actual Team Pros are at this table? You got Aniel, you've got Leo.
I think it's easier to count the players who aren't Team Pro. So Alex Brenners isn't, Greg Thompson isn't, Neil Channing isn't.
Oh, okay.
Brenners is the brother of a Team Pro, though, so kind of like, yeah.
I wonder what Christian De Leon's background is.
Oh, we're not going to have a chop pot here. The re-raise with 10-9 gets the other 10-9 to fold. And a brief hiatus in the action as this LAPT Team Pro Challenge continues. And it's fun to watch something different, Joe, as if the novelty of covering poker from this part of the world wasn't enough. Now we get a cash game to complement our tournament coverage.
Yeah, really fun stuff. And the good news for these players is that the kind of funky play that we sort of get on people's cases for in tournament poker, it's a little bit more acceptable in the cash game arena. You know, creativity and, you know, just a little bit more freedom to mess around a little bit. And, you know, your mistakes obviously are costly in dollars, but you can't ever be ejected. So it does sort of pay off sometimes to play a little riskier. It can be quite lucrative. So I'm looking forward to seeing some more all-in cooler situations.
Yeah, and as we said before, don't have an idea of how long this session was in real time and don't know what the parameters were. In other words, how many hands they were meant to play, whether there was a set number of hands or a set period of time. But we do know that this is going to play to its conclusion in the next 30-35 minutes or so. And at the end of that session, they will assess who won the most and who lost the most. Likely to be Greg Thompson, unless he can turn things around. An interesting cast of characters, as we just established, mostly Team Pros with a couple of other players, a couple of wild cards thrown in for good measure. And these are the stacks as we get back to the action. And looks
I'm noticing a name missing.
Yeah, I think Greg Thompson's had enough and has actually stepped. Yeah, Greg Thompson's given up. And Nacho Barbero has taken the empty seat.
Excellent. I feel like I saw another new name on that list too. Is Fabrizio Gonzalez, was he in the last episode or am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. Fabrizio Gonzalez was not in the game before.
And is apparently not in the game now, despite being on that list. Well, that's strange. Is Fabrizio Gonzalez the Gary Turnbuckle of Latin American poker?
Another multi-way pot. 5 players going to this board, and it is Alex Brenners who flops best.
Ugh, these outkicked ace situations. I think when Walter Salas bets into you here, you can fold your 6. Yep.
There is an empty chair at the table, Joe, and I'm guessing that Fabrizio Gonzalez is just waiting to take that chair and bring his stack to the table. He's buying in for $10,000.
Gonzalez in pretty big trouble here.
Yeah.
No help on the turn. You're in such a weird spot now, though, because I guess in position, you're okay. You're doing a lot better. This is why position matters a lot. It's just that when you check back that, you're going to face a bet here a lot. And it's not always an ace. You just got to wonder what hands your opponent is calling flop with. Checking turn, firing river. $900 is so much money. Good fold. And the hardest part about folding there is you just don't know, right? Like, you never get to find out you made the right choice.
You'll see it on TV.
Yeah, I guess you do get to find out. You're right about that.
I'm pretty sure that this was live streamed at the time. Okay, now the table is full and Fabrizio Gonzalez is at the table. And welcome to the table, Fabrizio. Pocket aces. Opens with aces, gets re-raised by King 5, which then gets re-raised by Jack 9. I mean, what are these clowns doing?
Me la pusieron muy cara.
I mean, yeah, welcome. You said it. Welcome to the table. I think Andre Akari is just doing his best to welcome the new player. Nacho's thinking of getting involved with King 10 here. Come on, not with this action. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, but he just won like nearly $280,000, so he's feeling like, I am invincible.
This is a good way to give a lot of it back. Just to Greg Thompson yourself.
Oh, wow. Christian De Leon's going to get involved as well.
If you're Gonzalez, you just like, is this real life?
So just to be clear, this is a 5-bet with pocket 4s.
There's a good question here from Undersea Monkey. Was it a raise from Gonzalez or was it a straddle? I'm going to give these producers the benefit of the doubt in that they would have known how to handle a straddle back then. Sixth bet, 36.55. Yeah, Ases is right, buddy. Undersea Monkey with more evidence that maybe it was a triple straddle, 1, 2, 4. It would explain the hands.
I mean, I wouldn't be trusting the graphics, Joe, to be brutally honest. They don't even have
now
the
that
dollar
Undersea
symbol on
Monkey presents more of an argument, I think that they probably wouldn't have known how to handle a triple straddle back then and just would have acted like it went raise, 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 and that's why we cut to the middle of the hand.
I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but they can barely frame a poker player, so let's, you know.
And that's why we got the first real raise with pocket 4s. That's why King 10 was a bit of a decision. Still pretty cool to first hand you straddle, get aces.
Fabrizio Gonzalez off to a great start.
Show one, show one.
Sí, 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 sí. Show one, show one.
Wow. Tres de clavo.
No, era un 2, era un 2.
Dama colorada era. Dama colorada.
Para mí era un...
Dama colorada.
Este 2 también. 500 todo.
No, no estamos jugando. Ah, el Joto 4 es el que estamos jugando, ¿no?
Yeah, so this is a straddle situation. Single straddle, double straddle.
Mínimo. Para contar. Mínimo 200.
Ah, yeah. No, Boris. Yeah, yeah.
Sube. 500.
So there's our first actual raise.
No paga. No pagan. 565.
My friend.
Total.
Very cheap. Mr. Black.
Now this, yeah, this is a straddle hand right here. This is exactly the kind of hand you want to have in the double straddle.
Get him, Neil.
You got me.
5. Paga.
Priced in.
Good luck, sir.
Primeras 3.
It's come trash in the...
Well,
Queen
he's
and a 6.
paired is 6, but it is top pair for Fernandez.
Eight of hearts. It's triple. Triple.
360.
Very cheap. Another cheap. Another is...
And just enough to keep Neil Channing chasing his tail.
I bet the less. I bet the less in the turn. But in the river, I don't know.
Cuarta.
It's another heart, which doesn't affect either player. Neither has a heart.
I told you, very cheap.
Yeah, not a great card for Neil. Obviously, any card that doesn't improve him, not great, but it's another straight card, another flush card.
40, yeah.
I gotta check.
Channing making it seem like he was about to bet to hopefully get a check back on this river.
Yeah, but it's only... Yeah, 20.
No more cheaper, my friend. No more cheaper.
No,
And Leo's got a pretty easy value bet with top pair the way this hand's gone down. And he's been making really small river bets.
20? 15 biscuit? You're the one that's going to be paying the biscuits, so it's up to you. I paid 15 biscuit. It's very fine.
1015.
$1,015.
Went for a pretty polarizing sizing, I think, to try to make it look like he's bluffing this pot. But he's a little confident, a little chatty. Granted, he always is, but
Cartas.
Yeah, Neil pays him off with the
I
pair
think
of
Leo
sixes.
thinks he might have lost.
Fernandez shows the queen and wins the pot.
Doble par de dama y 5.
Se ganó el biscuit.
I won the biscuit.
And pretty well played by Leo Fernandez.
Yeah.
I understand why I bet 100, 1,000.
I just would love to have that kind of confidence in my life to be able to bet.
Hold on. Sorry. We need to talk about this. Big blinds remaining in a cash game with the players in seat order, not chip order. I genuinely don't understand.
I mean, you can talk about how many big blinds deep everyone is in a cash game.
Big blinds remaining.
Yeah, well,
As you will.
It's accurate. Anyway, have the confidence that Leo Fernandez has there to like bet top pair, no kicker for a polarizing amount and just getting called by a 6. Like that's, I would make an NFT of that moment if it happened to me. All right, so we got another double straddle here.
Yeah, and this is one of the issues, right? When you're trying to do a cash game and you're clearly using tournament graphics and tournament terminology.
Yeah, that's the thing.
425.
I'll give Neil Channing this, man. He gives action.
Never mind. Next time round, I'll do.
I mean, this is very optimistic, very ambitious. Re-raising with 10A offsuit, an amount that no one really can afford to fold for if you've already got money in. Or even if you don't, for a lot of these hands.
Good point from I'm So Harmony. Sure, we know how many big blinds there are, but how many large blinds are there?
Isn't it funny, too, that with all the... Now, I know that our tours weren't particularly bad at this. With, like, all the dollar signs that people used to put on poker tournament graphics, and now it's actually dollars and there isn't one.
It's driving me nuts.
All right, 10-8. There you go. I mean, you're losing to Queen 10.
I mean, Brent raises a good point. Maybe a limitation of the software back then. If you know you are going to be streaming / televising a cash game, brief in the development work.
Oh. Oh, he doesn't want to see the board? Wants to play it blind?
Oh my God. You know you're allowed to look, don't you? You haven't been doing this the whole time, have you?
There go the 6s. Aniel calling with his better 10.
Yeah. But it's nearly a flip as we go to the turn, which is the 8 of diamonds, and that gives Neil Channing 2 pair and a flush draw. In fact, Neil Channing is drawing to a street flash.
I personally am not loving that 8 of diamonds. I'm liking the jack on the river even less.
These percentages not correct.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was wondering. There it is. So sick.
So sick indeed.
Neil Channing ahead on exactly 1 street.
Hey, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. 4 if you include pre-flop.
It's just so frustrating. Like, why give me the best hand on the turn if you're just going to do that to me on the river? I hate you.
Don't tell me this. When I make the big mistake, don't tell me nice call, please.
The worst part came after the river, right?
He like the value bet in the river all the time. I like the bet.
So we assume this is a straddle from Leo Fernandez.
Yep. Find out who the cheap asses are at the table who don't double straddle.
Come on, Nacho. I'm waiting for you, my
Make
friend.
it like 15 grand.
Nacho raises to 400 with ace 3 of clubs. Ace queen for Fabrizio Gonzalez.
¿Qué pensaste en hacer check raise?
Just calling.
Voy a tratar de abrir la tubería.
Ace 6 off is, you know, I understand people are reluctant to fold their straddles, but like ace 6 really is the worst ace.
Yeah, I know
Oh my goodness, how?
I already decided.
Us, 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 us.
All 4 aces are out, and it's going to be Leo Fernandez who bets $455. Pair of aces with the 6 kicker. Nacho calls. Gonzalez raises to $1,500. Coinspin asks, anyone see the live commentary? Well, there's where you're going wrong, Coin. Don't use your eyes, use your ears. You're listening to us.
Poker in the ears. Fernandez calls, and how can you overcall here with ace tray? This is very strange.
I have no idea what's going on anymore.
I mean, do you really think you're up against 2 flush draws? Okay, fine. Now you can fold. And Fernandez, all of a sudden, with so much equity on this diamond turn. Yeah, I mean, you're just going to hate this diamond. And I don't think anyone can really bet it. Please, no diamond.
No diamond.
All right, so ace queen is going to hold if they don't get bluffed.
Things going all right for Gonzalez today, right?
Yeah, kind of a weird spot, though. Yeah, I think you're forced to check. Now, someone could, like, make a huge bluff at this. But everyone probably a little afraid of everyone else having diamonds. You might get to your showdown here. One dude crazy enough to do this is Leo. Yeah.
Ace Queen is good, and that's a pot of $5,840 that will be pushed to Fabrizio Gonzalez. So a reminder that this LAPT Team Pro Challenge is a $20, $50 cash game that was played at the Punta del Este leg of Season 3 of the Latin American Poker Tour in February of 2010. And Joe, there are 4 hands left in this challenge. And after those 4 hands, we will assess who is the winningest player. We'll also establish who the losingest player is. We know that Greg Thompson, when he left the table, was down more than 18 grand. Snowman's num num.
Nom nom. All right, so Brennan's will do the single straddle, just not the double. Maybe he just forgot.
Neil Channing calls with 8-6 off.
Oh boy. $1,500. Just a call. I feel like a call's in order on the button with Queen 10. Poor Andre. Couldn't even get a hand to call, getting 8-1. So back to Brennis, who gets to close the action as the straddler.
And so we are 5-way to the flop.
Quería ver si no hacía doble par. Igual yo pensé que vos estabas en blef y era en color, así que no estaba tan mal.
10-5 deuce. Gonzalez with top pair.
And the biggest heart.
Ian betting 800 with eights. Channing's out.
I understand the bet with the eights. I just think that, you know, it's only one overcard, but I just feel like tens are going to make up such a huge part of people's ranges when you go this many ways to the flop. Like, just think of all the combinations that have tens in them.
Gonzalez now a 95% favorite. Action goes check, check. River is a deuce, pairing the board.
And you can tell Aniel's a pretty good player, even back then. I think he might figure out and find the fold here. I think that his opponent is very likely to have bluffed, semi-bluffed the turn with a flush draw after it gets checked to him. So that makes it a lot more tens that Gonzalez is calling the flop with. Oh, he really wants to call, though. He does.
Another pot for Fabrizio Gonzalez, 6.5K. And 3 more hands to play.
Tiny little cooler there.
No, malo no.
Gonzalez hasn't put a foot wrong. It helps when you start with the best hand or near the best hand and it holds up every single time.
Yes, that does certainly help.
Sube 250.
Le gusta ese rey porque iba a ser popular esta mano.
Paga 250. Señor, no. Paga.
I guess knowing that the game is drawing towards its conclusion, some players may open up their game a little bit more.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's a good point. And DeLeon with jacks here. Or pocket hacks, as they say in this part of the world.
Sube 900.
Bueno, es apetecible.
All right, take it easy on the cards, buddy. Not with the queen 6. Gonzalez, I was just complimenting you. Don't do this.
No.
All right, so
900.
This is the last hand?
All right, so Brenna's straddled. Aniel raised. Call, re-raised by DeLeon. Now we're on Leo Fernandez, who's thinking about getting a little funky with his chicken, with his pollo.
Rainbow race.
Blind.
Rainbow race.
Well, you called it, James. Kings. Wait, did it just say King 4 and then change to Kings?
No. It animated with kings.
Wow. I don't think it's blind either. Then. DeLeon's played pretty snug from what we can tell. But I don't know how you can fold jacks to Leo Fernandez.
¿Tenés Cowboys de vuelta? No. Ya sé que no hay Cowboys. Ya sé que Cowboys no hay.
Did you say Cowboys?
Christian DeLeon calls with jacks. We're going to the flop.
Muy buenos poderes. Buena mano, Leo. Muy buena mano. Preventivo. Eso en Argentina se llama llanto preventivo.
And good luck getting away from jacks now.
There will be blood.
Estoy muy tranquilito.
Otra rainbow bet vas a hacer.
No le des ideas, que ya tiene bastante en la cabeza. Tiene muchas ideas, ¿no?
$2,675. The continuation bet from Fernandez, called by DeLeon. And nearly 12K in the middle.
Par de 10 y vas a 9.
Board gets straightier on the turn.
Rescued by the 5?
Can you imagine?
Voy a seguir mi instinto animal.
I don't know how you are confident about this board, you know, against Leo either way, right? Like either he's re-raising you with like a huge pocket pair that has jacks crushed, or he's doing it with a hand like 6-8 offsuit and he has pocket jacks crushed.
Well, here we go. Fernandez bets enough on the turn to put Christian DeLeon all in.
8,675.
My call here would be completely predicated on the fact as to whether or not PokerStars gave me the money to play in this. Like if it's not my money, it's the end of the game, I'm gonna call. If it is my money, I'm folding.
I'm pretty certain these guys are playing from their own bankrolls.
¿Seguiré yo mi instinto o no seguiré mi instinto? Ese es el tema ahora.
Si pasás ahora, quedás hecho el día. Porque quedas con 9.000, con los piscos y la propina. Ahora si pagas esta, votan.
Esa es la que yo pienso. Esa es la que yo pienso también. Pero también pueden ser 10.
How much money is that ass Leckender, Rudy? It's $20,335 in the pot.
Checking the dot, falling the dot.
Christian DeLeon finds the fold, lays down jacks.
Si mostras par de 10, yo muestro mis cartas.
No tengo para decir.
Nice
Así
fold.
no muestres, porque no te muestro.
Me tendré que esperar a la televisión.
And in fact, the next hand will be the last. The LAPT Team Pro Challenge is drawing to a close. Just one more hand of $20, $50, no limit hold'em to play. That was a big pot for Fernandez.
All right, last hand, last straddle. Neil Channing with a fun straddle hand. Nacho upset he can't play it. Gonna lock up a profit for Fabrizio. Oh, wait. Nope. I wonder what the collective amount of money lost in the last hand of a cash game is, like, in history.
Yeah, Fernandez in with king 3.
Yo creo que perdí.
I need another more play. Estoy más grillo con la mano de par de fotos. Play 2 hands.
Nice and cheap.
So we are going 3-way to the flop. Final hand of this cash game.
Any shot, Neil Channing finally gets the better of Leo Fernandez. 8 deuce, looking pretty good.
Meanwhile, Fernandez has paired his 3. Channing has a wheel draw.
Oh, Fabrizio Gonzalez, where did you go?
No muy fuerte,
$2,000.
If you get Leo Fernandez to full top pair here, you're the worst player ever.
Okay, I'm chicken play.
Fernandez folds. And Channing folds as well, and that brings the LAPT Team Pro Challenge to its conclusion.
Well, I think Fabrizio Gonzalez won the Team Pro Challenge.
We are going to see how the players ranked by profit and loss. Certainly Fabrizio Gonzalez finished the game in the black, but I don't think he won the most. The biggest profit actually belongs to Leo Fernandez.
Yeah. No surprise there. Oh, nice little ball tap there from Nacho. Classy.
So let's see how much Fernandez managed to win in this $20, $50 cash game. He's up over 12K. Neil Channing up nearly 6.5K. Gonzalez up nearly 6K. And even though he doesn't appear on that list, Greg Thompson lost the most, down $18,145. I'm guessing, Joe, that's why he probably quit the game midway through to be replaced by Nacho Barbera, who also put up a loss of nearly $5,000.
Yeah, it's kind of weird not showing where all of the profits and losses come from, but hey, what are you going to do? Fun cash game stuff. I hope there's more of this. As much as we kind of goofed on it, it's pretty fun watching it. It's a nice little change from tournaments.
As we say every week, having never seen any of the coverage from these events, never having watched any of these TV shows before, I don't know what's around the corner. I know next week we will be continuing Season 3 of the Latin American Poker Tour, but I don't think there is another Team Pro Challenge, which was won by Leo Fernandez, by the way. I think it might be next week that we've got the America's Cup of Poker on the agenda. It'll be another fun stream at the usual time. In the meantime, guys, don't forget, new episode of the Poker in the Ears podcast dropped today. It is our interview with Parker Talbot, Tonka. And ahead of next week's show, please make sure you can dig out a copy of the poker movie 5-Card Stud from 1968. We're doing another Poker Movie Monday on a Wednesday, released on a Thursday. So if you want to be part of our film club, if you want to see the film for yourself and be able to join in our review, make sure you find 5-Card Stud. It's a Western from 1968. I think it's available to rent from most digital platforms. And download the episode with Tonka while you're at it. Some more LAPT next week, Joe. Until then, I guess we're out of here.
Adios, muchachos and muchachas.
Thank you for watching PokerStars Retro. From me, James Hartigan, and him, Joe Stapleton. It's goodbye.